Well, hello. I hope everyone's having a lovely Sunday. Oh, I thought I'd just throw a dead cat in the ring. Oh, that's already been done. Oh dear. Well, poor old Gary Lineker has finally been given a red card. Well. Oh dear.
Well, hello.
Oh dear. I hope everyone's having a lovely Sunday.
Up the energy.
Oh, I thought I'd just throw a dead...
pretty much
everything. There's so much to talk about, but no one's talking about it. They're just talking about, well, Gary Lineker. Well, I find it quite interesting in many ways because it's just it's exposing the hypocrisy in the BBC. Oh, one thing I found quite interesting this morning, I heard Philip Hammond, you know, the ex-Chancellor of the Exchequer, under Theresa May. Well, he said that when I speak to people in the Conservative Party, they're not happy about the BBC. No, not happy at all because they say they're not impartial in the Conservative Party. And then he talks to those in the Labour Party and they have similar complaints. So really all's good then, isn't it, really? I suppose if you feel that you're the target, well then you're not going to be very happy. But the fact of the matter is, these Tory charlatans, they just don't like the truth. Not at all. No. And it's just, in some ways, it's quite painful to watch because it's so blatantly obvious. And what is it all about? It's about a tweet. It's about a tweet. Gary Lineker posted about Suella Braverman. It wasn't an attack on the United Kingdom as a whole. It was an attack on the words that were used. So they were, well, the words used by Suella Braverman were not dissimilar to those used during, you know, in the 1930s Germany. Nazi Germany. Yeah, it's all been drawn out of proportion and been dragged over the coals, and the right-wing press have got hold of it. Probably because another individual, probably something to Murdoch, you know, or something like that. You know. Oh no, actually, it was about 36 Tory MPs. They decided that they were going to lobby the BBC and put a load of pressure on those at the top to turn off, well, Gary Lineker. Anyway, who have we got here today? Oh, okay. There it is. Here we go. My chat. So yeah, what I'm going to talk about today, I want to obviously we're going to have some dead cats, which is obviously referring to Gary Lineker. But also I'll chuck some more stuff in between. We'll talk about stuff, and then we will, well, hit on Gary Lineker at the same, not at the same time, but in between. It could be the dead cat interval, maybe. Anyway, that's the kind of the idea. That's the plan, if you can call it much of a plan. Hello, Mad Monk 33. Hello, my friend, and Gingers. Hello, Gingers. Duke Vengeance. How dare you wake me up with my peaceful nap, says Duke. He's angry again. With a notification, how dare. Blimey, it'll say. Hello, number 3. I hope you're well, my friend. The country's getting really dark, thanks to the Tories. Well, I've got a clip for you, actually, and it's getting really dark. Almost Sith Lord-like, and it is. Lefty boat, hello there. I hope no one's rocked your boat. And Vipek. Oh, hello, Vipek. Hello, everyone, he says. How are you all doing tonight? Oh, I'm okay. How about you? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, and so Larry the cat. Good evening, everybody. And Annette. Hello, Annette. Hiya, from across the pond. Oh.
So, you have accepted the truth.
Oh, so Larry the cat. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, if you want to support the channel, you do that via the super chat down below. That is really, yeah, obviously it makes all the difference. Not from the views, I'll tell you. And I hear that I've been getting adverts in the middle of my videos, and I haven't chosen. I checked. I haven't chosen. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I might have to send them, well, a message or something. I don't know what, because I shouldn't be getting adverts in the middle of my videos, my longer ones. Mad Monk, you're telling me that you got about 3 adverts in the middle of one of the videos. That's just ridiculous. I do not select to have adverts in the middle of the videos, only at the beginning and the end. If anyone gets that far, that is. Hello, Brian Maguire. I hope you're well. And Casper Northern, hi everyone, he says. Mad Bunker says, oh, so there we go. Hi, hi, hi. Wave, 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 wave. There was pink hand. Oh, dear. And, hello, hello. Hi, yeah. I hope you're well, my friend. Your message was retracted. Were you saying naughty things? Oh, baby. Xavier, hello there. And Lee, hello, my friend. I hope you're well. I have to admit, I'm enjoying your the Snowflake show at the moment. It's getting really good. It is. If anyone doesn't know, Lee Corner, he does with Reagan Lee. They do it on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock. A show, or the Snowflake show. Not just about snowflakes, no. Although they have them come down in the background. We're gonna do in the summer. Anyway, we know now that the snowflakes are really those on the right. Yeah. They're complaining, aren't they? Oh, God, they're just whinging, they're whining. They're like little softies, they are. Apparently, I got the Stream Elements bot is running. Okay. I don't know what that's about. I know what Stream Elements are, but yeah. Got a bot now for some reason. Hello, Casper Northern. Hello there. Number 3. And Lefty Boater. Oh. And hello to everybody. Hello, Mozart's bum. Mozart's bums are us. Okay. I've no feelings of guilt for never paying for the TV licence. In 45 years and troubles. Talking about the TV licence, my daughter's just got a court bloomin' letter. A court summons. She's actually paid it. She was late, but she has paid it, and it seems to have crossed over. Yeah. Sent me a message last night. We don't even watch the TV. Do you watch the football, I say? Oh, look. Okay, he does. Hello, Vipek. A handmade fish. Homemade fish. Proper. Hand-cut fish, chippies and that, and beer bad cod, maybe? Careful with that cod, though. It might be full of PFAs and PFOs. Forever chemicals. Quite possible, you know. Alex Chapman. Which means he's... What? 6 p.m. Saturday, which means he's terrified. Okay, I'm confused. One of the Tories did throw stones at the cats and set them on fire. Crazy world, and people actually do that. I know. Oh, Alex Chapman. Hello, Alex. Okie dokie. Well, what a blooming week, eh? I've got a whole load of stuff I want to do, and I've got to try and get my head around it because it's kind of been doing it on the own. I've got no producer. I'm no James O'Brien. No, talk about James O'Brien. I don't know if anyone saw it or heard that. Oh my God, the racists are about. Coming
over here, taking our jobs and our women.
They are about on the James O'Brien show. I have to admit, James O'Brien. Oh dear me. He does draw them in, those gammons, and just knock them straight down. I've got the clip here, actually. In fact, I've even done a soundbite.
Because they blend in.
Because they blend in. Who heard that one? Oh dear. Yeah, referring to the Polish. They blend in. Nice, wasn't he? Apparently, he's all about... He's culturist or something. Yeah, he's not racist. No, because it's about the cultures, but culturist, something like that. Well, James O'Brien, he drew him over the coals. He did, yeah, made him look like a right fool. Well, the BBC and Gary Lineker. Let's start with that. Yeah, I want to talk about other stuff as well. I want to talk about the bromance and David Attenborough and also food security and origins, etc. And phosphorus. Phosphorus. To do with food again. Fertiliser. Oh, lovely. And the fact that you got poop everywhere. I don't know if I had to touch on everything, but I'm sure I won't be able to touch on everything, but whether we can go into detail. But yeah, old BBC and Gary Lineker. Well, this is the row in a nutshell, really. BBC in the midst of a row of impartiality. But, and there is a but, apparently, in the next 24 odd hours, they might be able to, strike a deal or something. Yeah, breaking news. This is just literally a few minutes ago this came out. Let me just show you. Here we go. Breaking news of Sky, yeah, Murdoch. Talk about Murdoch. I've got a little clip for you in a minute. Yeah. I did get permission, so I just so you know. Anyway, Gary Lineker, a hopeful row with the BBC will be resolved in the next 24 hours. Hopeful. Really, really hopeful. I got my doubts, but we will see. That we will. So, the Gary Lineker sources close to the presenter are hopeful the row with the BBC will be resolved in the next 24 hours. Well, it was rather a tumultuous weekend for the BBC and obviously Gary Lineker. I don't know what, and they keep calling him Gary Glitter. I think it's got something to do with the BBC. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Savile and others, didn't we? They're all like sex offenders. And BBC has got a bit of a, how to put it, they got presidents, BBC. Scrupulous bunch, really. I don't believe for a second they didn't know what was going on, especially with people like Jimmy Savile. Yeah. And Gary Glitter was in the dressing rooms with... not good. No. Well, wonder if they've been impartial. So anyway, the BBC and its football shows had a bit of a tumultuous weekend. Notably, the match of the day yesterday. Oh my God, 20 minutes of pretty much just like they kick the ball about. Oh, okay, that's done. It was a bit like there was no hosts, no pundits. Lasted around 20 odd minutes. Sort of akin to speed dating, I suppose. Or in Lee Anderson's case, probably what? Well, little fornication. Solo. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, will we fly on that wall? No. So Lineker has been involved in that row over impartiality. The fact of the matter is, it's he was actually, well, I can see, looking at, show you in a minute, looking at the actual rules, BBC's rules, it's right, to be fair, it's really vague. But he wasn't doing anything wrong, no. Pretty much they're just a whole load of Tories, they're just, well, this bunch here. Group of 36 Tory MPs and peers, they wrote to the BBC chief demanding Gary Lineker be investigated. Yeah. Tim Davie, they put pressure on Tim Davie. Wasn't he something to do with, wasn't he like chief of communications or something for Theresa May? But he's a Tory. See the independence, see, you know, impartiality there. Bit like that other one, isn't it? Richard Sharp. He gave 400,000 to the Tory party. Oh, some partiality there too, I suppose. And you got Gibbs Geezer. Yeah. Gets from bad to worse, it really does. These people, eh? Tories! All of them. Scumbags. Oh. I say that. Oh, I did. Oh, just to let you know, the real... I do remember I did a live stream a while back regarding YouTube and its latest terms of service. Well, they're rolling back on the language. So they pretty much put all naughty words into one thing, into one category. So you couldn't say anything pretty much. But they got a lot of backlash. They got a lot of how about pressure from YouTubers and stuff. So they roll back on that. It looks like there are still the rules have changed. But it isn't as strict as it was before. And now they've kind of gone back on the all swear words are the same. Like, for instance, the argument's sake, the N word in comparison to like the bloody or something like that. They're considered the same. Stupid. So, yeah. Marina Perkins has been on this as well. She's been having her say as well. If you're spreading things about, she has out there. Oh. So, old Gary Lineker, he was asked to step back from the match of the day on Friday after the BBC claimed that he had breached impartiality rules. In fact, as they got pressure from the Tory party. This is in response. His co-hosts, Geordie, and Sharon, and Ian, right, yes, they pulled out. They did. And, that's quite good to see, to be. But I'll tell you what's quite interesting is Gary Lineker has been questioned on this before, some years back, in 2021. Anyway, he was interviewed by Atkins. I'll show you in a minute, actually. I got it here. But, oh, crikey. You got John Barnes. He had something to say. And then, oh, crikey, but then got Ian right here. There you go. If the BBC get rid of Gary Lineker, I'm out, he said.
The truth.
Oh my God, I'm gone. Well, I'm not staying there, no. On his own platform, he should be able to say what he wants to say. This has become the perfect distraction, the perfect distraction for this government. They got no empathy. Well, they haven't, none whatsoever. And the most vulnerable people are always the ones that suffer. They talk about empathy. That brings me on to what Gary Lineker said. Quite happy. I got all these little windows up. I got to flick through because I got them all squished down. You see. Anyway, Gary Lineker was interviewed by Ross Atkins of the BBC actually when he was being questioned regarding his tweets, things that he said in the past. Oh, okay. I think it's worth having a little listen to that because you get context of who, where he stands in regards to empathy. He's got some, pretty much, I would say. When he's got empathy for me, give us a bung, Gary.
I'm very supportive of refugee issues, and that's a big thing for me. And I do find it very hard to understand how we can't have empathy.
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to make that a little bit louder because that's a bit quiet.
I'm very supportive of refugee issues,
and
that's a big thing for me. And I do find it very hard to understand how we can't have a degree of empathy for people's positions when they have to flee a country for war, for conflict, for possibly climate change in the future, who knows, for all sorts of different reasons, that we can be so, I suppose, awful in our treatment of the way we view that. I have 3 rules. I don't tweet when I'm had a few drinks, any drinks. I don't tweet when I'm angry. But I'm never angry. I haven't really got.
That can't be true. There must be times.
No, I don't. I don't.
Get angry?
No, I can get upset, and I can get a bit miffed. But I haven't got that. I mean, I played a whole career, never got booked, so I never tackled anyone. That's probably why. But so I haven't really got that. But also, the other thing is when I write a tweet, if there's, I will read it through, and if I have a 1% doubt about it, I won't send it.
So, if he didn't feel he was 100% confident with his tweet, he wouldn't tweet it. So he must be 100% confident that the words coming out of Suella Braverman's mouth were 100%. Well, he was 100% right to comment on it, tweet on it. Say that they were reminiscent of, terrible with the words of Nazi Germany. He's evil. Well, it's Murdoch. Murdoch's been putting pressure. Take over Murdoch. He wants to get rid of the BBC. I'm sure of it. I really am. Absolute. Our Home Secretary. That one.
The BBC are being destroyed on social media. Good. Everything is unfolding as I have foreseen. By placing Tories in senior positions in the BBC, I am dismantling this well-loved institution piece by piece. Soon, the BBC will be killed off once and for all. The public will demand it. Weak-minded fools. Every cancelled license fee direct debit makes them more my slave. Soon, British Broadcasting Corporation, my plan to destroy you will be complete. And now, BBC, you will die.
I just put the the link in the chat for that. That's by Joe. That was, and he used to be. He's been in an advert, a British pork advert. I did ask him about getting permission for that, so that was that should be absolutely fine. But I just found that absolutely hilarious when I saw that, especially something, you know. Oh, well, he's supposed to be the it's Murdoch, you see, the Sith Lord. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious when I saw it. Is it me or my lips out of sync? Yeah, I think so. Maybe. It did make me tickle, that it did. So, oh, back on that one again. There we are.
That's my rule.
So the 3 Lineker rules for sending tweets, but one of the rules is not steering clear of controversial subjects, because you have tweeted about.
No, because I believe it. Like refugees, like climate change, I think it's important. They're important.
And so my question with regards to the BBC is, given the BBC News's commitment to impartiality, and I know that, for example, Simon McCoy, when he was a presenter on BBC News, took issue with one of the tweets that you'd sent, so this is not helpful.
But
for
they
the
don't
work
apply
BBC...
to. They only apply to people in news and current affairs. They only apply, you know. So
those are the rules. So I suppose what I'm saying, I'm not suggesting you're breaking the rules. What I'm trying to understand is, do you consider just the broader impact on how the BBC is perceived, even if you are within the rules?
Well, I consider myself a freelancer anyway. So, and I've worked with the BBC. I've worked with BT for years. I'm now working with ITV. I work with Walkers. I've worked with numerous people around. I'm always, I think, I try to be considerate about what it would mean to the people that have employed me at some point. I've never had any phone calls from.
So Tim Davie, when he came in, didn't.
I've had 2 or 3 conversations with Tim Davie since he's been in, but he never called me up and said, you can't tweet about that, or you can't tweet about this.
But when you met him, did he talk to you?
I don't think they could do that anyway.
I mean, this is 2021.
Well, they couldn't tell you to do it, I guess, but they might ask you to do it, and I was just wondering if they had. No. But when you met him, did impartiality come up?
I've known Tim for a long time, for way back, but no, I don't think we've talked. I don't talked about impartiality. I think no.
So no, it didn't.
I'm very.
So it's all about empathy as far as he's concerned, and also how he feels he wants. I suppose how he wants to be perceived. It's all very well being neutral. You can't, as an individual, you can't be neutral all the time. What's the famous quote, isn't it? I mean, the 1930s again. Come to think of it, it's never be a bystander, or stuff like that. I can't remember who said that now. Maybe you know. Leave it in the in the chat. Maybe who said that? Never be a bystander. Stuff like that. I think that's what it said. Basically, it's mean that you don't just stand on the side and watch some poor bugger and smashed in the face. You know, protect people, help people, need help. Yeah. And no, it's not Gavin. This Gavin Lineker creature. Person. Yeah. Lee Corn. You're being funny again, aren't you? I know. Now, I'm not somebody who follows football at all, and obviously not Gary Lineker. He's been pretty much everywhere. And especially because, crisp advert. Salt and vinegar. Got me my favourite flavour, salt and vinegar, but I'm not allowed. Number 3 says, I'm feeling subdued. Don't feel subdued. No. You know what I say about that?
In Beijing, opening up new pork markets.
Pork markets. Who was asking about pork markets? And number 3. Cheers, my friend. You have a sync problems, also super chat ones. Oh, have I? Oh, nee, cheers, buddy. Did that come up on my screen? It might be because I was looking over there and didn't see it. Will that come up? It helps sustain you and your...
you have accepted the truth.
See, the thing is, I got the volume down low, you see. I think it's through the microphone, so it's quiet in the distance. But I heard that time. I think that's when I was looking at the other computer, when that clip was playing. Helps sustain you in your 8-hour-long stream. Oh, cheers, my friend. I'm being sustained. Anyway, that clip was by, like I say, it was by Joe. He was in the one of the British pork adverts, and he's on Twitter. I've left the link in the description, in the chat, sorry, in the little chat there. Have a look for yourself if you want. But he does quite a few little clips like that. Some are really bizarre. I mean, really weird. But I have to admit that one's pretty good. Alex Chapman says Marina Perkis is stunning. She's a stunning lass, and also is married, and she's got a little baby. Yes, baby. Holy caca. I'm going to say, type the word that got Kenny Everett taken off the BBC. Wow, that wouldn't be in the best possible taste, would it? Oh god, my sink is really out. Okay, let me just have a look at this. That's not right there. Yeah, definitely out. Again, it's the microphone out. Might have to increase my sink on the microphone. Find it then. Oh dear me, it's complicated. Oh, mic too. Right, I am going to increase it to 1 minus 100 milliseconds. Yes, instead of that. Hopefully. Hello. 1. I think that might be better. Oh, dear me. I can't obviously monitor what's coming out of your end to my end, because obviously I've got the microphone also through the sound card. Complicated. Right, so, hello, Matthew May. Solidarity is a powerful thing. Can anyone tell me, is that synchronization any better? I'm going to do the synchronization test. The clap should be when my hands go together. That would be quite normal. Did it? What? Oh no, he said boobs! Is that a swear word? I don't think so. No. Gary Lineker, yes. And in right. Oh, there. And then there's the other one, isn't there? Shearer. So anyway, where was I? Oh my god, come back. Everything's gone. Everything disappeared. That one. Wouldn't do that. There, okie dokie. So yeah, it's all been hitting off there. But okay, let's go into something else. Then we had Emmanuel Macron. Oh dear. That was like a bromance. Yeah, there was love in the air. Okay. Oh wait, I'm getting there. Pop. Oh, there we go. The UK France summit. As you might have seen this bit already. Look at that. The Macron, the Macron grasp. You want that go, Macron, doesn't it? Give that to Trump. Trump pull his hand out of the way, didn't he? Remember? Oh no! Give me my hand back. You know, I've got tiny hands. Give me back. Oh, look at that! It's so sweet and lovey-dovey. Oh, go get a room or a tent below a mountain. I have to quite like that film, Brokeback Mountain. Thank you, everyone. Oh, So yes, they had this little meeting, didn't they? This so-called summit, which hadn't had one for about 5 odd years. No. And then we had discussing stuff. They've been talking about stuff. They've been talking about the well, they're going to have a detention camp, basically a prison. It was a detention centre in northern France. Probably end up being, safe for France, probably. Calais, they're not going to like it in Calais or anywhere near there to be. But if there's this detention, well, it's not be detain. I think I think the door's going to be shut and locked, and the guards probably. Once you're in there, you're not going to get out. No, they didn't say it was a processing centre or anything like that. Although you don't process peas. That was on Question Time. I'm talking about Question Time, and then you got Fiona Bruce justifying that it was only once that Stanley Johnson smashed in his wife's nose in hospital. Only happened once. It's okay then. Yeah, that's okay for the BBC, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. Very impartial. Yeah. Well, it looks like Sunak is going to block it, actually. Peerage for Stanley Johnson, and so he should be. What has he really done? Wrote a few letters onto Rachel Johnson. That's what she said. Oh, I've got a call. Hello. Hello.
So, you have accepted the truth.
I'm all right, mate. How you doing? Yeah. My audio's out by about a second. Oh, okay. Oh, cheers for that one. I'm going to go into it now. So, okay, I've gone too far the other way, then, haven't I? I do apologise, everybody, but I had a call, and it happens to be Lee Corn. That it does. Try to find my microphone on there now. That's that one. Obviously, that's not right then. So a second. So I was 50. I must have went the wrong way then. So let's try that. Is that better? Oh, of course, yeah. It's delay. You see? Do you know that, everybody? There's a delay. There is. So about a second out. Oh my god, that's a bit weird. One. It might be because I've plugged them into different USBs. Technical stuff, you see? Technical. Bit more. What, the other way? Is it a bit better? Okay. Go back to that. Mine's nothing. 0. Oh. How's that? The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Not a lot of people know that. Bill and Ben, the flower pot men. They went to bed together. Bill said to Ben, the blah, 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 blah. No, I can't finish that. It's still the same. Oh, am I on the right microphone? That's the right microphone. That's the right microphone. Try and find it now. Oh, hang on. That's not on there. How about that? Ba, 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 ba. Oh, it might be, yeah. I've got 0 delay on it now. So it normally is. Maybe I went the wrong way. So what if I increase it by that? Is that better? I know it's got to catch up, but I do realise. Oh, okay. Ba, 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 ba. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1. That's not right. Yeah, that's not. You see, the thing is, I I've got people dropping off like flies now. Are you dropping off like flies, everybody? Leave in the chat. Oh dear, what a disaster that is. Okay, that one's on that one. I'm pretty sure I'm on mic. Yeah, on that mic. So 5 milliseconds. Do you think it was better before? Mine's 50 before. Okay. Bizarre. That is bizarre. I'll put it back to what it was. Okay. Alright. Is that really bad? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's quite a big delay. That I can go do as much as I like. As an OBS. So if I put 150 instead, then comes in. Mine's 100. I've got to delay the audio by about a second. Ow. Alright, I've done 150 now. The rate, that's milliseconds. Yeah, so you're saying, oh, that's a massive. Okay, that's, so you can go up to 100. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, it's going over now. Oh, I was going over, but I do it that way. I won't let me go. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry? What? Yeah, I'm changing it in the preferences. Putting audio properties. Yeah, I've done 900 now. I've done 900. 1, 2, 3. I do apologise, everybody. I do apologise. We will get there in a second. If not, you might have to just, you know, separate you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. I'm minus 500 at the moment. I can't do 1,000. It's not enough room to do 1,000. You go up to 999. But I tried that a minute ago, but you said it was worse. I tried 900 minus 900, so that was delaying by 900 minutes. But you said that the microphone's ahead. Okay. Yeah, let's get rid of that then. All right, how about that then? Bill and Ben, the flower pot men. I'm probably making it worse. Oh, it's better, is it? Oh, excellent! Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you for your call. Oh, isn't he kind? Oh, people are dropping off like flies. There you go. Nice one, thank you. Speak to you later, friend. Bye. Oh dear, we got there. Oh dear, because it was all a bit like, a bit like that. Yeah, sort of kind of weirdness. Anyway, hopefully that is okay now. Oh, what can I say? Oh, it's thrown me. Yeah. So the French diplomats were in despair over Boris Johnson's willingness to use France as a prop to bolster his domestic standing. You remember that? You remember AUKUS, the submarine deal and what have you, that France had with Australia? Then they got gazumped basically by, via text message. So France wasn't particularly happy about that. Macron wasn't very happy about it. He's quite angry about it. So Sunak's obviously got to try and rebuild our relationship, and plus, obviously, France keeps getting blamed, such as, well, 27 people died, didn't they? In that boat, trying to cross that channel. And then the Prime Minister, in effect, blamed the crisis on France and proposed that France should commit to taking back all the asylum seekers who made it into Britain. Needless to say, Emmanuel Macron said, no! That's what he said. They're your asylum seekers now. So, in a suggestion, the French government had already, they rejected it multiple times. They're never going to make any headway with that. There's no good Sunak going over there and trying to suggest, oh, I think you should, well, maybe you should be taking them back. What do you think of that idea? Sunak goes, but there they go, not again, and that's not going to happen. You give us some money instead. At 500 odd million over several years. Part of that's going to be going towards building this so-called detention centre. It's basically a prison. But what happens when it's full? You'll build another one? Because that's just going to keep filling up. Where are these people going to go? Unless you're going to process them, see whether or not they can get asylum status. But it's like this bill blocking the people who come over in little boats to be able to get to claim asylum. And they said you'll never be able to come back to the United Kingdom again. But we'll give you a one-way ticket to Rwanda if they ever get that passed. And but it could happen. I think we're getting close to happening though. Early next year might be the first flight. That's what they're saying now. But they're not going to be able to obviously claim asylum once they're there. And the fact of the matter is, even though they might, who was it said this the other day? Hinted on, well, actually, no, said it about more. Oh no, that was George, the science minister, George something or other. Anyway, he was saying that about having some more safe routes into the country. But he said, we will need some more safe routes. When you question, yes, we will. Question about it. But that ain't gonna happen. Once that bill goes through, that's it. That's it. That drawbridge is pulled up for good, pretty much. And it's just totally inhumane. It really is totally inhumane. That's this Tory party for it, sucking up to the race. People like maybe this geezer.
Well, I have a Polish family live next door.
Yes.
I might even not know that they're a Polish family because they blend in.
But they speak Polish.
Now, if you have,
because they blend in, apparently. Well, anyway, what's in the chat? I haven't looked in the chat for a bit, so mellow. Scroll down. There we go. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lee, for that. That's much appreciated. And it's not Gavin Lineker. Gary Lineker. There's a whining sound now. Is it me? Is it still there? I hope it's not me. I'm not broadcasting any whining sounds. Imagine Gary Lineker and Ian Wright taking over the UK House of Parliament, and Boris Johnson would take a boat to Rwanda and wouldn't come back. Lefty Boat has got a boat. I don't know if I'd want to take it to Rwanda, though. No. You're fired! Oh, are you talking about... Oh, you're fired. Are you talking about Alan Sugar? It's all right for Alan Sugar, isn't it? To say whatever he likes on Twitter and what have you. And post pictures of Jeremy Corbyn in a military vehicle. A Nazi military vehicle in a Nazi uniform. It's okay for Alan Sugar to do that while he's working for the BBC. But Gary Lineker can't post an innocuous tweet. Total hypocrisy. It's convenience, isn't it? And it's just the fact that they got 36 Tory MPs who are kicking up a fuss. That's pretty much the long and short of it. And they just don't like it. Just like what happened to David Attenborough's show. We'll get into a little bit later. Where was it? There's something I know a lot of people don't like the last Labour government. I know that. I know not everybody likes Alistair Campbell. Most certainly not Tony Blair. But there is an interview with Alistair Campbell. He pretty much knocked it on the head, he did. He was spot on. Now, in the BBC rules, partiality. Actors, dramatists, comedians, musicians, and pundits, and that's what he is, Gary Lineker, who work for the BBC, are not subject to requirements of impartiality on social media. Also went on to say regarding, if you talk about things like, for instance, to do with what you've been hired to talk about, well then you're breaking your partiality rules. But if you talk about something that's not related, it shouldn't be a problem. Alan Sugar, Alan Sugar. My God, stand that man. I really can't. Although he did, although one minute he's telling everyone to vote for Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, and the next minute, but was it last year? Alan Sugar then tweets about this useless government. So, can't make his mind up, can he? No. I've done that one. Oh no. So yeah, Alistair Campbell. I think it's worth watching this one. I'm not going to do all of it though. Quite long. We're not going to do all of it. We'll just beginning of probably. Maybe. There we go.
But the truth is that I defend the BBC. I think the BBC is fundamentally important to this country and our strength as a democracy.
Not what it used to be.
And what has happened today
as it once
is, I'm afraid, the consequence of creeping right-wing authoritarianism in this country. The people who should be leaving the BBC are not Gary Lineker, not Ian Wright, not Alan Shearer, Richard Sharp, the chairman, the Tory donor, the friend of Sunak, the man who arranges loans for Boris Johnson, Robbie Gibb, the man who used to work in that building where you are, Mark, Millbank, and run BBC political coverage, and be perfectly happy for people to be saying that the BBC was full of left-wing pinkos while he was campaigning for Brexit and campaigning for the Tories, then goes to work for Theresa May, now back on the board. And Anna is absolutely right. This is pandering, cowering in the face of right-wing extremism. We have a right-wing, extreme, authoritarian fringe in the Conservative Party that has got a grip of Sunak, that got rid of Theresa May, that got in Johnson, that got in Truss. And who's next? Who's next? As she said, David Attenborough. His programme's being watered down because they're worried about what the right wing are going to say about climate change. Alan Sugar, who tweeted some vile things about Jeremy Corbyn when he was leader. Now, I would defend his right to do that. But what's the difference? The difference is that this government and their wretched right-wing rags who support them, their propaganda arm like the Mail, the Express, etc., they've created a fuss loud enough for the BBC to go, oh, no, it's not going away, we better get rid of it.
But isn't it...
Yeah. I think you pretty much knocked on here. We might come back to that in a minute, actually. But, such hypocrisy. Total and utter hypocrisy. Guess I gotta check the chat, and I didn't. So maybe we got it anyway. Hello, Joe. I hope you're well. I hope the Brits know that just now on Portuguese TV, they were talking about Gary. Oh dear, really? And how the BBC is less and less independent. Not as bad as it is now. It's obviously you're never going to make everybody happy, are you? Because to be impartial, you kind of got to be partial sometimes. You know, otherwise, every time you speak, you got to counteract what you said. So as long as there's a balance, as long as there's some right, some on the right, some on the left, some in the middle, you know, no one really takes sides. You're just reporting on the news. You just no, not anymore. Not when you've got Tory stooges involved. They're not a fringe anymore. No, the Tories are the new UKIP. The Tories are the new UKIP. Yeah, it's the Reform Party now, isn't it? Yeah. Well, we've got flipping Suella Braverman, and then you got with this new bill, and she's been praised by right-wing governments in Germany and Italy. Oh my God. Leaky Sue and Boris wouldn't dare to walk alone in Rwanda. Go ahead, try it. Let me see how much they love the Tories in Rwanda. Well, Rwanda's got, because obviously, was it 90? Well, when was it again? The genocide Rwanda, was it 94? 1994? 92, 94? I might, like that. I think it was around that sort of time. And, yeah, if you've got the wrong shaped nose, you're done for. You get chopped up with a machete. But that loads of people, Rwandans, they left, they fled, they were refugees, and there's about 36 million of these Rwandans that fled. But what people don't realise is that Rwanda's become a bit of a haven. That's not haven. That's the wrong word. The Rwandan government wants to attract refugees to try and rebuild their country. They need people. Oh, I know someone else who does, another country that does as well. Or a group of countries called the Union. That's called the United Kingdom. They need people. But no, we want to send them all away, according to the Tory party. But the Rwandan, the government, they need to rebuild their country, and that's why they're quite keen to get refugees. Although they're sending people, people that maybe can't work, such as disabled people, in exchange, because the Rwanda deal is pretty much an exchange deal, isn't it? Yeah. So there's camps all over Rwanda. One in particular has got about 13,000. Is it Kishamo? Something like that. Well, I can't remember the exact name, but anyway, it's about 13,000 refugees in that camp. And it's become a bit of almost like a little economic community. But they've got, don't be wrong, they've got nothing. I mean, they're making little it's like mud huts and stuff like that they're living in. It's really, really very, very basic. It's not what these Tories tried to make out. Rwanda has trouble, and also it's what I can see, they are so word. It's just another tyranny, really. Oh, Mark's biggest fan, my friend. I hope you well.
Accepted the truth.
Lineker will come out on top. Too much public support, massive public support at the moment, and he crapped himself on live. He crapped himself on live TV, and it's a national. And it's a national treasure. People love him because he's just. I think he's genuinely a decent bloke. And his son recently, he tweeted as well. So he massively supports his father. Very proud of his father because of he's a decent man. And although it's quite funny to see. Oh my God, Sky News decided to report on Gary Lineker coming out of his house. Yes, they all stalked this house. They did. They waited. They did. Him to come out of his house. Shut the door. Didn't say a word. It's just I can't spell. I can't talk. He said. I said hello. I can't talk. Still very polite. I can't talk. I can't talk. So all they got him coming out of the house and got into his car, and that was news. They actually showed that and reported that as news. It's just got silly. It really has got silly, and it's the whole thing is rather silly. But it does expose the BBC, and they've really come off bad, haven't they? They've shown their true colours. They ain't showed much else. No, only 20 minutes of football. Dare I say it? Oh dear. Joe says RTP as to trail lighter since all parties have a say. Don't forget the appearing in only his underwear. Oh God's sake. I'm not going to show you pictures of that. I'll get in trouble. I will support anyone that has a right to an opinion. Of course, everyone's got a right to opinion, no matter what side you're on. Sometimes you just make yourself look rather silly and foolish. Nasty. But you're still entitled to your opinion. Yeah. The original gammon. Who's the original gammon? Graham? Graham who? Which one? Don't forget the up you go. The Corn says you're entitled to your opinion, but it's not going to be run by Labour. And if it gets going, it will be crowdfunded, so it will be independent of the party. RC. The BBC is now like TVE and your next door neighbours, controlled by the government of the day. But yeah. Equal analysis deformed by the far right governments. So many of them. Quite scary, actually. The far become a movement of gaining ground. Obviously, Trump didn't have and Steve Bannon. He didn't help either. He don't even realise this, but he did try. Steve Bannon tried to set up a school here in Europe, not far from it, I think, in Italy. And it was an old medieval building, and it was going to be a training ground for a right-wing. I suppose it would be like Hitler's Youth, I suppose. That would make sense to me. Yeah, please, like, you know, do the old boot the old like button. That's not working. Pumps, we've got Pumps here. Oh, Pumps. Oh, I made your sign, Pumps. Does anyone know we're planting trees here? You probably know that already. People are here. But I was making signs the other day. I made yours, Pumps. So you know. Yo, peeps. Oh, what's that? I missed one there. Yeah, please boot the old like button. Oh, my Graham. Oh, you can grow concrete, you see. My Graham said you can grow concrete. Strange people out there, I tell you. That's Talk TV, isn't it? Well, that's Murdoch. And he wants to get rid of the BBC. Give them a free playground, doesn't it? Do what they want then. The BBC do a dodge by hiring top stars through the BBC worldwide, which isn't publicly funded and means that they can avoid publishing top star salaries as required. Oh, Scotland! Oh dear, up in Scotland, you know, you're paying more for your electric, your energy, than we are in... Well, I'm not, because I'm in France, I'm paying this in all of you. But, you know, in England, you're paying more. Even though you produce... about 52% of the electricity for the country, for the United Kingdom. How does that make you feel? They keep turning off your wind turbines. They've got nowhere to put that electricity. No infrastructure. Because your wind turbines have been actually overproducing. And yet they're still paying more than anybody else. Don't sound fair to me, somehow. It really doesn't. No wonder you want independence. Dave Blase, I hope you're well, my friend. Good evening all, and everybody having a great weekend so far. I hope they do. I have. Coming to an end, as it is. Are you going to work tomorrow? Maybe. Oh, do-do-do. Murdoch is like the Emperor in Star Wars. What? Did you see that clip I just put on there? Have you seen that? Did you see that? I might show that again a bit later on. Yeah. I got a clip by a guy called Joe, and some of you have already seen it, regarding, well, it's supposed to be Murdoch as the Emperor. Wanting to destroy the BBC. The BBC. Oh. Well, 52% apparently. Gone to an article that I was reading. I've actually done a video on it as well. And it's based, I think that was a Guardian article. It might have been. RC Phil. Okay, Keir Starmer supports everyone's right to an opinion unless it upsets his foundation voters up in the red wall. Now, I think that's a problem. I know people could disagree with me, but I actually, because I feel he's lying. If some people are telling me what they're telling me is true, that, oh yeah, you just need to get in the front door, get your foot in the door, and then you can make the changes. But then he's lying to everybody. And I think that's a problem. I know you need to make... Yeah, they're obviously going to have to make some change. I get that. I know you can tweak the Trading Corporation Agreement to some degree, providing unions, you know, is obliging. And obviously that include the European Court of Justice. Just as, you know, the right-wing nutjobs are off, aren't they? Even in the Labour Party. Don't forget Kate Hoey came from the Labour Party. Lovely. What's going on between Kate Hoey and Nigel Farage? Makes you wonder. Oh, crikey, that's a two, isn't it? Oh, yeah, by the way, just so you know, Nigel Farage is, at the moment, he's promoting his gin. Farage gin. And he's suggesting that you, well, buy some Farage gin for Mother's Day. Oh, okay. Last year, he was suggesting that you have, well, get him to do one of them video messages on Mother's Day. Up the rah! Or something like that. That's what, yeah, that's happened before. Hello, who's 2,400? Honestly, how can you manage to walk any street in England and be aware that every second one you see, they're voted for? Oh my God, yeah, that's a good point. Braverman's party. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that. But there's a possibility that there might be more than the 52% of the people that you're walking past that voted for. Because I don't mean to say they're going to get all the people as an impartiality across the board same time. So they might be all Brexiters and in 2019 put that cross in the wrong box yet again, all because they just wanted to.
We got an oven-ready deal, put it in the microwave.
And to...
Let's get Brexit done.
Pretty much. And that work out for you? Hasn't, has it really? Not much is really... No, there's no benefits of Brexit. And there never will be, because it's bust. Bust in its DNA. I'll take you down memory lane in the 90s, the raves. Oh dear, crikey. The raves. Do they still go on in the UK, rave? You still texting each other? You know, who's going to be at this location? Come down and we'll bring about with our glow sticks. And have some pills. Nothing like that. I can honestly say I've never been to a rave. Can you tell? Probably. Gary Lineker's dad sold fruit and veg. Yeah. He was a grocer. And mention him on your next supermarket trolley dash. Well, we was actually in Grand Fray the other day. I wasn't feeling very well, actually, very well to be fair. But I have to admit the veg looked lovely. Loads of juicy, bright red tomatoes. I will upload. I have uploaded it actually. Make it live. And also went into Leroy Merlin's and various. It really bugs me, Leroy Merlin's. Leroy Merlin's, which you probably got in the UK, and also Decathlon, and also Auchan, which is a grocer's, like a supermarket. All three of those stores owned by the French Moulier family. Moulier family, and obviously they're very wealthy people. Well, they're still operating in Russia. Huge amounts of money. Bad money, I reckon. So much for sanctions. But they refused. They point blank, they've refused to do anything about it. And they're still supplying stuff to the stores from France to. I don't know how they're doing that, but. I've been told. Alistair here, heading to. No, don't go to bed. You got an early start, have you? Okay. You have a great night, my friend, as well. Snore. Snore, snore. European ones are longer, whereas American ones have more girth. Okay. I don't want to go into that one. Okay, I'll have to. Be careful of those cucumbers. Oh, cucumbers! There's plenty of cucumbers here in France as well. There's plenty of cucumbers. I have the evidence. They don't have any preservatives or colourings added. Now, there's something that's going on. We might touch on it in a minute. I might do it now, actually, when I think about it. As my away from the dead cat for a second. There's a lot been going on in France regarding food. But ain't going on in the United Kingdom, sadly, regarding food security, which is a massive, massive issue, obviously. And the NFU, National Farmers Union, is calling for better food security in the United Kingdom. But France is trying to do something about. They've actually, the Environment Minister here, Thierry. Anyway, the Environment Minister, French Environment Minister, has just announced 200 million support for homegrown food. Get my greenhouses sorted out, I might better get some money. Anyway, trying to encourage food security in the country. Now, here in France, especially rurally, so many people grow their food anyway, to be honest. We do, for a start. And we can a lot. They want to encourage it. They say they want to encourage it, not just on the homegrown, but also locally produced food as well. So to improve efficiency and more modern farming methods, are still like turning the soil and more phosphorus and nitrogen, because phosphorus is another real problem. It really is, and nitrogen, potassium, and basically we've got dead soil. Not just in the UK, but here in the well. Although I must admit, my local farmer does a lot of green manures, but they don't leave anything fallow these days. You know, years ago it was like crop rotation. You know, there are 3 fields. Each of those fields would be cropped, but one won't. So one's always left fallow for at least a year. Here in France, what they tend to do, they grow a lot of peas on those crops or certain brassicas, which are nitrogen fixing. So they help feed the ground, and then just turn it into the ground. So effectively, it's the same thing. And other things you do, but seaweed on your ground. Let the tide come in, pollute it with salt. At least you get the seaweed. It's a massive problem, and something we need to do something about, because we're getting to a point where we're not just poisoning our soils with chemical sewage and other nasty stuff and phosphorus. We're overworking it. The soil's dead. You know, and it's becoming so light now. I've noticed even more. I've turned over so many times we've been here and put more and more muck into the soil to try and regenerate the soil. But it's not what it used to be. It's lighter, and it's not got too much organic material, as in like sawdust, but not enough loam in the soil to hold it all together. Not enough clay. It's been kind of replaced with all the other stuff, broken down, and that's a major problem. We need to be able to that's a sustainable soil, and there's no scares good about. Okay, maybe it's scaremongering. That the soil is literally being blown away.
Truth.
Hey, Pumps, cheers, buddy. Nice one. Do they still sell those red potato like fruit things in France? Red potato like fruit things? Or apples? I don't know. Potato like fruit. Red potato. I don't know what you're on about. When you get red potatoes, pomme de terre, there's plenty of potatoes. Fruit thing. I don't know what ones. I don't know what they're called. I can't recollect them, Pumps. I can't. Red potato like fruit things. You mean potatoes? Oh dear. Dissenting voices in the early 1930s Germany were drowned out, threatened, and intimidated into silence. Oh, they disappeared, people. Well, that goes on. Well, like Russia, for instance. Those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Churchill. Hence, well, I wasn't EU at the time. I grew up growing the majority of our veggies and most of our meat like chickens. Now, me and the missus, we're going to do a live show together next week. Which might be interesting. She's never done anything like that before, but she said she's up for it. And she want to talk about that, and also about how school and what have you, and disabilities. That's what she worked in. She worked in school. So it might be quite interesting. So we'll touch on not for the whole show, but probably about an hour, I imagine. Sweet potatoes! Oh, sweet potatoes. Yes, you get sweet potatoes here. In fact, I grew sweet potatoes last year. Your delay is getting worse again. Really? Okay. Right at 999 milliseconds. Oh, God. Let's have a look. My delay is getting worse again. I'm going to have to do my clappy test. I'll do 900. As far as you can go. How's that, Lee Corn? Leave it in the chat. Oh, there. I got tomatoes and Aldi yesterday. I thought I'd won the lottery. Apparently, it is recovering somewhat. It's getting a little bit better. So it's not quite so much a Oh God, yeah. YouTube can't fix and tech problems. There's a delay. Has it got worse? It looks like it's worse to me, what I can see, but it's not necessarily what's broad. Tomatoes. Tomatoes. Those things, yeah, but yeah. Well, they're not potato things. Yeah, you can get them here. No problem at all. No good. Okay, that's no good. We'll try 250 then. Okay. I've changed it again. Don't know if that's any better. I think they were used all up from people, BLTs, bacon, lettuce, and tomato turnip sandwiches. Yes, you can. That's okay, no lag. Oh, it's fine there, Brian, is it? Oh, okay, it's no lag. Okay, I hope that's okay. Cheers, Brian. It might be you, Lee. You did say your internet shit. Try 950. Oh, yeah, very funny. Ha, 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 ha. Now it's out of sync, says Brian. Oh, my God, really? Something's not right here. That was better before, I think. Right. I've gone the other way now. Now it's out of the. Right, this is annoying. One. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How come I've got all these tech problems? I've been recording on there. No problems at all. Audio is ahead of the video. Oh, that's not a delay then. I've got to go the other way then. 1. Oh, it is. Yeah, you told me to go the wrong way. Go the other way. I need a minus in there. There we go. 1. 1. 1. Right. 1. 1. Hello. Oh, there. Oh, dear. Okay, Casper says, did anyone see the last leg on Friday? Adam Hill's got a really nasty message about his disability while on air. Crikey. After covering the BBC story. Well, it's a bit like what happened with Donald Trump when he took a mick out of a disabled journalist. Yeah, he did that. Yeah, not very good. Audio delay says, is it delay or is it ahead now? 950 milliseconds. Audio. Is it delay or is it ahead? I'd say. This is so weird. I haven't done. What? I haven't done mushrooms for ages. Right, I'll have to leave that up so I can keep tweaking it. That's not right, is it? 200. One, two, 1, 2. Hello. Yeah, I can't see. I can't hear. Oh, what? Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, it's ahead. My audio's ahead, so I need to delay my audio. I do apologise. Don't know why I all of a sudden started doing that for. That is strange. Definitely. How's that? Anyway, I'm going to carry on talking. In the olden days, I'm getting my own mushrooms just the backyard. Well, I used to grow mushrooms here. I used to do some in the logs. But also used to do just the ordinary little agarus mushrooms, like little button mushrooms. So 950 meg. Well, I'm at 900 now. So I don't know if that's going to make any difference. 50 milliseconds won't make a lot of difference. I'm losing all my stuff again. Oh, I do apologize. We're back. Right, I'm at 900 milliseconds. So yeah, thousands are joining the NFU campaign, calling for better food security. But France is doing something they're calling the sovereignty plan. Yeah, sovereignty. They keep saying 750 million. I don't think the 50 is going to make a huge amount. Right, I'm 950 now. Minus 950. So I hope that is okay. Still not right. It's seconds out. Right, I'm going to start from 0. There'll always be, usually it's delays. The microphone comes in later because of the USB, you see. Right, okay, I've got on there for a bit. Not mine's plus 9. We did that earlier, plus 950. Well, I'm on 0 at the minute, so I'll just see what happens. I'm getting dizzy, says Joey. Go back to 0 and try. Guess what we're doing? I'm back on 0 now. We are on 0. I'll try that in a bit. That might be through now. No. Mine's plus 9. 0. Right, okay. Back to 0. I guess what. I'll try that. The audio's ahead. The audio is ahead. Normally minus. Right, audio is ahead. Right, I'm ahead. Put it on there. I do apologise. Right. Right, so yeah, they're oh, where are we again? Right, okay. That's worse. $100. Okay, anyway. Fine. Right, I'm ahead. It is ahead. Definitely got to be mine. Okay, anyway. The France's agriculture minister has announced a £200 million investment plan to increase the French consumption of homegrown fruit and vegetables. There's a sink clap. And in a few days after the visits of the French President Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Elizabeth Borne, France's Agriculture Minister Marc Fesneau spent time at France's largest farm show, Salon de l'Agriculture, on Wednesday, and he outlined a 200 million euro sovereignty plan to increase the consumption of homegrown fruit and vegetables. According to Europe One, only half of the fruit and vegetables eaten in France are grown here, a figure that the minister wants to increase. When it comes to fruit and vegetables, we have had a loss of sovereignty. Sovereignty. Yeah. Okay, what's it saying there? Smash your head against the wall. I might fix that audio delay. I might try that later. Yeah, just don't look at me. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I've gone both ways. And I need to... Normally what I do, you see, is when I test the audio, what's probably happened is because I swapped all the USBs about. So maybe it's going, the microphone's going through a slower port or something. And normally what I do is I'll do the clap test. And when they're basically syncing the sound of the clap, your hands, and that sort of syncs the audio. Nothing simple, is it? 950 milliseconds. Okay, I did that earlier, didn't I? Why 950? I'm on 950 now. And I'd have thought that would increase it. I'm on 950. This is 950 milliseconds. So when it comes to fruit and vegetables, we have had a loss of sovereignty across all parts of the market. And the minister said at the Salon de l'Agriculture. Now, Laurent Grandi, the head of Interfel, the joint sector organisation for fruit and vegetables, told the BFM TV, which is a news, that we are at a crossroads. Now, he explained that the plan hopes to regain at least 10% of the market share for the fruit and vegetables grown in France within the next 10 to 15 years. So I think what you need to also remember is the fact that obviously the consumption is going to go up as well anyway, but increase in population, especially if we've got all the people in that detention centre in northern France. Maybe. That was hard work. Are we there? Perfect. Don't say anything. What? That's better. Not bad now. It's okay now. Oh, okay. Let it be on sync. Oh, hey. You're there. Oh, thank God for that. So, Lee Corn, you were right all along. If that is the case, I'll fine-tune it later. See what's going on there. The 200 million euro investment plan will take place over several years with the objective of helping to make crop production better and more efficient. Do you hear of any of this stuff going on with the UK government? No. And this could include more funding for research and development plans to modernise greenhouses and new techniques for fighting against pests, while simultaneously lowering the use of pesticides such as protective nets, weeding and robots. What I didn't say in this article is that they're also talking about vertical growing as well, but I can't I've looked at that article now, and it was a paywall article, and we're also talking about vertical growing. Quite an interesting thing to do. Do a bit like the Netherlands, don't they? A part of the plan is also to encourage French people to eat more vegetables generally. Now, I feel that many people here in France are following what was happened in the United Kingdom regarding eating too many McDonald's. Maybe not BRTs, because obviously there's lack of tomatoes. Or lack of lettuce as well now. But anyway, yeah, it's a trend that's I'll show you by Wally. There he is. He's having a bit of a scratch about and a bit of a mad moment. That one. Hello, Wally. You got a treat, my boy. There you go. Oh, that's now he's gone. There we go. So the part of the plan is to encourage the French people to eat more vegetables. Now, we eat plenty of vegetables here because obviously we're going, but we're in rural France. There's obviously got to think about people who are living in the towns and cities. They haven't necessarily got, the means to be able to grow their own. Or the dog is getting terrible. I can't seem to find anything. He lost his sight. Wally, come on. Wally. I can hear him sniffing. Oh, hey boy, Wally. He'll be in a minute. We'll be in it. Anyway, so they eat more vegetables. And the minister said that the goal would be for at least 2/3 of the French adults to eat 5 fruit and vegetables daily. Currently, only about half of the population managed to do so. Well, in France, they were saying in the other article, they were saying they've only got 50% food security. But it's a lot worse in the UK. It's about 80% is imported. They only got 20%. They don't tell you that. When you look at the government website, such as that. Oh yeah, boy. When you look at the government website, they base it on the value of foodstuffs, not on the actual food itself. The amount of food, as an economy. So the UK is largely self-sufficient. This is on the .gov website. This is a whole load of waffle. In meat and wheat and most meats. Well, we're struggling with wheat at the moment because of what's going on in Ukraine. And most meats and eggs. We're struggling with the eggs because of what's going on in France regarding bird flu. And also in the United Kingdom as well. And some sectors of vegetable production. Sectors like soft fruit have seen a trend towards greater self-sufficiency. Oh no! That's a blatant lie! You're grubbing up your flippin' orchards. No apples and pears at this rate. There won't be enough to sustain. They're not fun. I think I mentioned it last stream actually, but normally every single year they purchase around 1 million trees just to sustain the current number of trees in the orchards. Unfortunately, they were going to order only about 700,000. In fact, they've only done about 300,000. So and to top that, they're actually just digging them all up. They're grubbing them up, and many orchards are disappearing, like in northern Kent, for instance, such as the same with the greenhouses and and what have you. They're all been, not all of them, but they applied for planning, taken down, and they got the planning. They're not taken down yet, but they're not going to grow in them, are they? At the moment, if they plan to take them down. Now, some greenhouse grows, ones that have survived the crisis regarding the energy crisis. What do you want now, Wally? I'm just going to let my dog outside. Been a pest. I'll have to get up again in a minute. Oh, can I come in now? I've had a pee. Animals, eh? Been married. Anyway, the UK is largely self-sufficient in wheat and most vegetables. No, where was I? The sectors like soft fruit are seeing a trend towards greater self-sufficiency. That's just a lie. No. Most, including the Farmers Union, National Farmers Union, saying that's going to be the next thing, which is going to, start disappearing off the shelves. That and leeks. With extended UK season displacing imports. Overall, for the foods that we can produce in the UK, we produce around 75% of what we consume. That is a blatant and outright lie. It's the other way around. We import around 70 to 80% of our food. Because the thing what they don't tell you is, just because it says, it's British, like all the processed food, it's British. The ingredients that go into it, and most of them are imported, and a lot of them are mixed ingredients anyway, so it's quite a difficult thing to work out. That's not true. Because they base it on the economy of the food sector, of how much, not necessarily what the actual imports of the ingredients are. It's stupid. The cost of agricultural commodities linked to global gas prices, which is another thing that absolutely maddens me. Electricity prices in the United Kingdom are set against the most expensive form of electricity. That was gas, and now they're just warmed up the coal-fired power stations. They're warmed up ready, just in case we need them. You see. Yet we're turning off these wind turbines up north in Scotland. They're turning them off. Whenever they're overproducing, they're turning them off. It's costing 150 to 200 million a year just to do that. And in fact, what they're saying is they've increased capacity, offshore wind and what have you. They're going to cost as much as 2 to 2.5 billion keep turning these things off in the next few years. If we don't have no infrastructure, obviously, if they increase the infrastructure, it makes a lot of sense. Now, the other day, I did a little video. I haven't put it up online yet, but I did a little video about solar. Ollie. I don't know, why do we have animals apart from all colours? Lovely. Anyway, I did a little video about solar because when I walked around Leroy, I didn't buy from Leroy Merlin because I boycotted it. But it's we walking around there, they're just putting a load of not what Leroy Merlin's, that was Decathlon, which is also part of the same family and also operating in Russia. Anyway, they're those car covers, all solar car covers, basically like hangers, And the only thing I thought was a bit crazy is there was no car charging points. You'd think if you're doing like solar panels, like, you'd have EV car charging points thereby, wouldn't you? But the thing is, this is what we call local production again, isn't it? That electricity will be going into the grid and been used in the grid locally. Because it's near an industrial state, I'm sure they'll be using most of that electricity within no time at all. Night, you see, everything stops at night. Dark. When the wind turbines don't turn, apparently, there's no power. We know there is power. Wind turbines operate all night long too. Oh, So, do the Tories, do the lorries stuck on Kent count as homegrown? Well, the lorries, that situation changed ever since oh crikey, Softcat Forlock, that walk and penny farthing, Jacob Rees-Mogg.
They're now British fish, and they're better and happier fish for it.
And he said, we're not going to check anything coming into the United Kingdom. Instead, we're all going to be eating British produce anyway. But also, we're going to let everything come in. It's cheaper, you see. Yeah. Not to have checks on the border. Sounds a bit like the single market to me. About being able to trade with it. Yeah. So we've got all the stuff coming into the United Kingdom regarding foodstuffs. And it's not being checked. Not at all. Your food, especially beef products and stuff like that. I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't imported burgers, any minced meat should never be, must be frozen. As soon as it's minced, the air's getting to it and it's going off straight away. It's pretty immediate. Never, ever ask for a rare beef burger unless you've seen them actually make them on site. They're bought in burgers, even if they're frozen. You don't know before they're frozen how, whether they've been sitting about. End up with all sorts of that. Oh, they're evil. I keep telling you, seriously sinister. Talking about the Tories, they certainly are. I was told, says Lee Corn, that even if the coal power station isn't contributing to the grid, it's still running, yes, and burning coal. It's always ticking over. Coal-powered stations, not like gas. They can't just flick a switch. Because it's fire. It's fire, and it's ignited like fire, like you would light your coal fire if you had a coal fire or your coke burner. I don't know, whatever you might have, but it's running all the while. So they've actually got them ticking over now. That's what they've said. They start. I think they announced it last week. Well, that was the advice that was given, that they're going to start ticking over. Yet they're actually shutting down these wind turbines. Makes no sense whatsoever, apart from the fact they've got no way of getting electric from A to B because the infrastructures can't handle it. In the United Kingdom, it's old and it's antiquated, and not very helpful. Or they're saving a bit of money, aren't they, with the HS2? They're delaying the HS2 just so they can save some more money. The train. How many times has that been delayed? I don't. There's no point looking. Oh yes, it's going to come into operation in this day. There's no point looking. It'll get delayed again. One day it'll happen, or it'll be completely utterly scrapped, or something. Hello, Saren. Good air, innit? I like it here in France. Oh, you well, my friend. Where were we again? So, you're not telling me Sinker's out again? Really? There's something weird going on here. How can I keep drifting? I have to look at this. You'll answer the question on your feed at least 20 minutes after they appear Sync has gone again. There. The video is way ahead now. Oh, this makes no sense. We're doing this for 135. That makes no sense at all. Ah! The video is way ahead. When I first start doing this, I actually reset everything. I, reboot the machine and start again. Twilight Zone, the delay. I blame Gary Lineker, says Pumps. Right back at 0. Oh, you're joking, aren't you? All right, let's do that. All right, we're now on 0. This is getting beyond the joke. All right. Are you too close to black holes? Pulling me in, it is. It is that black holes pulling me in. The picture jumped at one point and went ahead of the audio. Not what I'm seeing here. That's fine now, is it? Oh, there's something weird going on there, isn't there? That's moving about. Move about. That's bizarre. It's synced. So I've gone to 0 now. I went to 950 milliseconds, down to 0. It's fine. I thank Mello and Brian and burn it all. Burn it all now. No, I can't do that. I got no money. We have actually been looking at another computer actually, but I can't afford to do it just yet. We seriously need to do some upgrades because my laptop is like what I'm using at the moment is like 3 years old now. The machine over here that I use for my editing, 6 maybe 7 years old. That was pretty way up there when I got it, when I built it. But gremlins. It's fine. Keep it. Okay, let's say keep the setting. Okay, nice one. So where was I again? Nice one. He's just been outside. Dog's playing up again. He's just been outside. Wally's just been outside already. He wants to play. What? My dog's been playing silly buggers. Oh, he's gone again. So yeah, oh, that's just thrown me. It really has thrown me. It's not me. I'm too busy hacking the BBC, says Mad Monk 33. Hacking the BBC. Someone needs to. Oh dear me. So I'm here now. Oh, okay. Hello, Sean. Oh, Nibbud. These names. Hit you, don't they? The system is creaking. Software interrupts. Overload. Oh, crikey. I know. So yeah, so the cost of agriculture commodities apparently linked to global gas prices. We recognise the concerns about the cost of food. But through this strategy, we're setting out long-term measures to support a food system. Oh, cheers, buddy. A nice one. Let's stick it in the meter. Okay, I'll stick at the meter. Cheers, my friend. Much appreciated. Oh, dear. We recognise the concerns. Oh, dear. We recognise concerns about the cost of food, they said. Yeah. Food, is it about 17% food inflation? Regarding the farming at the moment in the United Kingdom, the costs are at 19% on the inputs, the stuff they use to grow your food, such as seeds, fertilizer. So everything is like, it's just getting out of hand. Now, a lot more protections here, and compare it with France, as you already know, Macron instigated the buying of the remaining shares of EDF, and cost about, originally it was going to cost about 9 billion, and it cost about 12 because of inflation. 12, 13 billion or something. It cost a lot more, but they've capped our electricity to 4%. What are you? 400? Quite frightening, really, and totally irresponsible. Considering the prices are set on the most expensive energy source, whether it be gas or probably going to be for coal now. And you could push the price. Obviously, coal's more expensive than gas. Although we do have our own coal. There again. So they're talking about sustainable, healthy food. Well, if you haven't got good soil, you can't grow healthy food. You have to look after the soil. It's the first thing you've got to look after. Decent. Not just pretty food. Not pretty food. We need food that's got all the stuff in it that we need to survive. All the, minerals and what have you, and trace elements that we need in our bodies. Otherwise, we're going to have to start eating each other. Oh, no, it'd be a bit tough and chewy. You can't imagine it. And Wintercombe. Oh, can you imagine that? Doing on that. Beef jerky. Oh. Anyway, food industry also has a central role to play in the government's levelling up agenda. Well, that makes you laugh. What levelling up? More like levelling, out. Foreign investment. Well, it is present in every part of our country. It is the largest manufacturing sector in the United Kingdom. Not anymore, isn't it? Oh, Brian Chess, my friend. I wonder if this will sync directly with your account and sync with mine in, say, 68 years and 3 months. You tell me it's bad again. Always remove unused devices on PC to stop it running scans on it. I've got this setup we use here is literally just for. Oh dear. Although the missus has been. That's what I blame the missus. That was her. Oh, I read about that earlier. I think just say. Okay, I'm sitting here in this cold house, and this knobhead is siphoning off the electricity grid for himself. Richie Sunak has had the local electricity grid upgraded so he can heat his Oh, God, really? Is that in the news, is it? Just think who funded that. Russia. That's where his missus' money comes from. They are married, at the end of the day. It's... What's hers is his, kind of, isn't it? Vice versa. That was a feeble excuse when you got caught out with that. That's just... No one's saying anything anymore. I have several times, but no one said anything. It's blood money. Putin bought him a nice underground swimming pool or whatever it was, or upgrade or expansion. He doesn't need a swimming pool. He's so flippin' tiny, he just needs a paddling pool. I know he's not that short. He's like 5'7", isn't he? No, 5'7". About my height, but he's got nothing to him. He's like way for him. Oh, dear me. I'm in sync. Am I still in sync? I hope I am. I've posted it in the Snowflake server, says Duke Benji. Okay, I'll have a look later. Hope Lee Corn don't mind. Don't forget about Lee Corns and Reagan Elite's show on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock, the Snowflake show. And yeah, that's quite cool. Is it connected to the internet? Probably. I don't know. Where does the copper for the wiring come from? Well, we used to have copper mines in the UK, didn't we? Yeah, a lot of the wiring, if you're talking about the grid, there's a lot of aluminium ones that they use. Say something, though. You wouldn't want the engineer who put my flipping fibre internet in. No. Oh, God. Workmanship. There isn't any. Horrendous. Glued the flipping cable to the wall with a glue gun in a big circle before it got to the box. There was no need to do that. You could have gone straight to the box. I'm in sync. Oh, good thing. The evening has been entertained. Oh, nice one. Cheers, number 3. I hope so. Even though it's been a bit, had to put a bit ad hoc and a bit crazy and a bit kind of out of sync. Put spa for jacuzzi. What it is. This evening has been. One of Sunak's swimming pools costs £18,000 a year to heat his swimming pool. That's just immoral when people are suffering. Maybe we'll all join in. Let's all go for dip. Oh, crikey. It reports that 1,000 BBC journalists all plan to walk out due to the Lineker thing. Oh, crikey, have they managed to... I'll check for Mad Monk. Yeah, there's a link just there for the Snowflake Show if you're interested. It's definitely worth a look. So click on there and maybe subscribe. Click that little bell icon. Click buy while you're at it if you want. Oh, dear. Oh, we've all noticed the food prices, I expect. Yeah, I know. It's pretty horrendous. It's not cheap here in France, though. I'll be the first to admit it. Food inflation has definitely gone up, and obviously that is going to be down to the war in Ukraine, but other reasons as well regarding like bird flu. Eggs they've literally doubled in price. We were paying for the basic eggs here. We were paying €1 10 centimes per 10 eggs. They're on tens. But now they've gone to 2.10, so they've gone up by €1. We did see the other day actually when we went to San Juan that was €1.08. So that's your friend. So the UK food industry is buggered, but when I see things like this, I uploaded the video about this the other day actually. In the Guardian. Yes, beef. Beef. Is it beef, though? Oh, is it British beef? Like it was being sold? I didn't even know there was a beef supermarket. Apparently it's a bit like a Waitrose. You know, it's like a northern Waitrose. Posh people. So they're not getting their British beef, no. Well, they might be now because apparently they've stopped importing it. Oh, sink again. Really? This is weird. Okay, easy answer. Don't buy. Now, this is getting odd. Yeah, that is a bit odd, number 3, I must admit. I don't think it's a virus. Virus check as well. Got a live virus thing on it, hopefully. It says unprotected. The copper was mined on Anglesey in Wales. Wales, that little island, where the Brexiters are. It's now going to be a Freeport thing. Cities. I use HelloFresh for my meals. So far, the price hasn't changed. Because it's probably expensive in the first place. Oh dear. Coretta de Brava Slug just lied on TV about Lineker complaining about her illegal bill. But he complained about the language. Yes. It was the language that was constantly being used by Suella Braverman. And so was... Oh, what was her name again? Holocaust survivor. I can't remember her name now. Someone Sloan, I think it was. But anyway, she was obviously a child at the time, but managed to escape the Nazi regarding Holocaust. Now, I think she's the chair for a group regarding Holocaust. It's drifting. It's running in the background. Mad Monk says the sink is fine. Something weird going on here. If it's alright in one person's, it's going to be alright everywhere, unless you've got a problem with your audio. maybe I've given you a virus. You reckon? I don't think that's possible. So, it's independent, was it? Okay. Hello, Chris Murphy. I hope you're well, my friend. Think that's fine for me. Oh, cheers, Lee. Thank you. We're on zero sync. There's something bizarre going on here. You just get a new computer, isn't it? Oh, dear. Anyway, what was it? Yeah, so, beef. The beef supermarkets confirms a link to possible food fraud. It's not just the fact that your beef is coming in the United Kingdom from the EU because we're just giving you all our rubbish, probably with bugs in it. Maggots. Yeah, maggots. Lots of maggots. So sending you loads of maggots. That's what we're doing. Because no one's checking, so why would we care? I won't be surprised a lot of this stuff ends up into the processed food market anyway. It's, cooked up. Heaven, hell done to you. So anyway, they got forced to remove products from the shelves after imported beef was falsely labelled as British. The Booths, the supermarket chain, known as the Waitrose of the North, has confirmed that it is the retailer linked with a possible case of food fraud after imported beef was falsely labelled as British. You know what the Brexiters say? I just want the Brexit. What they get? They get Southern America, beef from South America, and yeah. So pre-packed slices of beef and deli products were packaged as if they were from the United Kingdom, and they were actually from elsewhere in Europe. Well, if you've got a lot of mixed beef products, isn't it? The problem here is, how do we track this stuff? If there's a problem with the meat, if we can't guarantee that the labels are accurate, or they're entering the food chain illegally or fraudulent, how are we going to track this stuff? Because food, as in beef, what have you, is generally tracked, might be, but stuff coming from the EU, for instance, that isn't being checked. Not just EU, everywhere now, isn't it? It's not getting checked. No phytosanitary. How the hell are we going to find where it originates from? It's all very well for Jacob Rees-Mogg to say, oh yeah, just let it all in because it's going to be cheaper to do so. The fact that the United Kingdom had no capacity, and because of, well, getting rid of all the checks, have you rendered all those car parks pretty much redundant. All those car parks in Kent, there's only one of them that's really being used at the moment, and one of them that was just finished, now sitting there. The latest one that was done, where the locals were complaining about it. I can't remember where it was now, but anyway, it was in Kent. And then you got Portsmouth, where a major customs centre was built for 25 million. That's just sitting there now. And the local council had to pay for that. Yeah, that'd be taxpayers paying. Locally. Something they didn't need now. Maybe later, because I'm sure the checks are going to have to kick off at some point. So the UK's biggest supermarket chain said that they were not affected. But Booths said that it was working closely with and cooperatively with the NFCU. I think it's the National Food Crime something or other. And insisted that it was categorically not under investigation. At the point of being made, aware of the potential issues in 2021, Booths acted instantly. They did instantly in removing all relevant products from sale and ceased trading with the supplier with immediate effect. Spokesperson said, but we don't know how long this has been going on for. The issues were back in 2021. So how long has this been going on for? And they wonder why the EU are protective over the border between Northern Ireland and Ireland. You can't wonder at it, can you, really? I don't know why we've got our red and green lanes now. Which is going to take years and years and years to actually come into fruition. The start of this month, apparently, they can start setting things out. It's going to take a long while. There's going to be infrastructure. Oh, what about the Good Friday Agreement? Okay, what about that? Obviously, it doesn't matter anymore. But issues of provenance and traceability, honesty and authenticity are of the highest importance to Booth. Typical press statement. And the business has been fully cooperating with and supporting the work of the NFCU for the past 18 months. But we only just hear about this stuff. So obviously it's been going on for some while. How did we find out? That's the other thing. That could have gone on and on and on like an Ariston. It could have gone on for a long time. We don't know. So it was either coming from South America or from Europe. But South America, the standards of animal husbandry are pretty poor, like it's in the United States and Australia, and also in New Zealand. All these mega farms, immense. I have a video here. There's an aerial footage of mega farms, but also the way that they sheep dip, which isn't pleasant. They literally got these machines, hydraulic machines, full of sheep dip. Sheep put into the, and then this flipping thing that looks like a farm gate comes down and squashes the flipping sheep under the fluid, under the dip. So they're going to ingest this stuff. They're going to get away from it. Not they're walking through. Whack them on the head with a mop in the head at the same time. No, they literally just submerge sheep. How cruel is that? Absolutely petrified. Well, pre-packed slices of beef and deli products were packaged as if they were from the United Kingdom, when they were actually from elsewhere and South America. That's not great. That's not great. Now, things are getting regarding chemicals and what have you, and the way our farming methods in the United Kingdom getting pretty flippant. And I'll tell you something. I might have seen this. So, regarding the dead cat, hasn't Gary, and they said Gary Glitter again. I mean, Gary Lineker, the dead cat. Well, this geezer here, John Barnes, him, he had something to say.
You've said that you're 100% behind Gary Lineker. Why is that?
In terms of impartiality, I don't know when the BBC have ever been impartial. In fact, BBC's reporting on the Qatar World Cup was anything but impartial. So it seems that they want to pick and choose when they want to be impartial. Criticizing others or criticizing other countries or other political parties or other religions seems to be okay. But of course, if you then criticize what goes on in this country, then it seems that they will then come out with this impartiality rule. The second thing, which a lot of people took offense to, is the perception that Gary was equating Britain to Nazi Germany, which he wasn't. What he said was the language used regarding the refugees is similar to the language used in 1930s Germany, which it was. And of course, we can see how that ended up. And Gary is not saying, I'm not saying that that's how it's going to end up. But of course, the language used in terms of creating this perception of an unworthy refugee, very much like the Jews were unworthy to be German and Germans were better than Jews. That was the language that was used. And that's what we're saying here. We're talking about the refugees coming over, and the language used towards the refugees coming over on boats in terms of them being rapists, in terms of them being criminals, is different to the refugees from the Ukraine. And that is what we have to address. And that is what I want Gary and everybody supporting him to talk about. Us talking about the worthiness of different groups of people, because that's how discrimination starts. Be it men, women towards the men, in terms of the worthiness of a woman towards a man, blacks towards whites, gays towards straight people, and a Syrian refugee coming over on a boat as in relation to a Ukrainian refugee coming over. We don't hear language from the Ukrainian refugees situation talking about rapists and murderers, but we hear it about the Iraqis and the Syrians. And that's what I would like Gary and people to talk about. The worthiness of everybody, including the Syrian refugees, in relation to the Ukrainian refugees.
Can't say fair than that. I don't think so anyway. I think spot on. The other thing, later on in this clip, he says, well, he was asked by Sophie Fridge, she was giggling like hell she was. Anyway, she asked him, have you had a call from the BBC to do Gary Lineker's job? He said that, no, I think they lost my number. I don't think he would take that job on. Not when he's buddies with Gary Lineker. And there's another clip here, which is only about a minute long, but check the chat. Into the chat we go. What, you give up? What's up, my friend? What's up, number 3? Don't give up. Oh, no, Brian. Thanks again, my friend. I'm no fan of England football team, but Barnsley was something else. Brian Maguire, Nightbird, and have a good week. It's serious. Hello. It's serious. If you're talking about the racism. Things are so bad. One butcher asked me to flood my top flat so he could get compensate. Really? So he could get compensation. This is how. God. Obviously, I take it the butcher's struggling and he needs money. So that's nuts. That's just nuts. That's extreme. John Barnes gave them it right up there. Okay. They have been totally immersed. Will they get escaped? Poor little sheeps. Oh, I see what you mean regarding the Yeah, but that's not how it used to be done, Sean Nilbub. They used to you walk the sheep through, and then you use as they pass through, you splash tops of the head. You wouldn't literally make them so they're literally having to digest it. You know, they're under there for like 5 to 10 seconds. That's absolutely. The Gary glitter. Yeah, cheers, my friend. iPad. Number 3. Cheers, mate. I'm just illustrating the point. There are a lot of people much worse off than us, and we count ourselves fortunate despite of it all. Older neighbours as well. They're looking at the pension age, aren't they? In Jeremy Hunt's budget. That's a bit. No ear tags for me. I'm part of the tofu eating snowflake party. Ear tags. I went to the butcher's yesterday to get Scottish square sausages. And it was the fresh. That fresh. It's, oh God's sake! So the ear tags on it because it's that fresh. Scroll down. Give up with the sync issue. Yes. Truth. I will check it out later. Not much I can do at the moment. The way I have to check it and then adjust it, I'll have to reset all my USB. So I shut everything down, disconnect everything, and start get reallocation. Start again, basically. It's auto ducking. I've turned it off though. Right, let me just check that. I can check that. Because I'm not speaking loud enough. Filters. Noise gate. Oh, hang on. That should be off. I've turned the noise gate off. Okay, limiter. No, limiter's okay. I've turned the noise gate off. Is that any better? You've got to tell me it was that all along. Right, I'll just close. I'll just turn the noise gate off. Noise gate basically means that if there's quiet sounds, yeah, I think my noise gate was too high. Okay. Yeah, I won't be surprised, you know. I might have been. All right. Does England have square sausage? Mad Bung? I don't think so. But we have square sausages here in France. We do get square sausages. Yeah. Not great. They probably don't know what lawn sausage or tatty scones are. Oh, okay. It's a Scottish thing, is it? Just pretend you're looking for what? Cutting out randomly. The sync is tiny bit off, but no biggie. Okay, cutting out randomly. Right, I don't know what's going on here. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'll keep an eye on my microphone. It doesn't look like it's cutting out. Right. Leakhorn says, Mark's biggest fan, you can get square sausages. Not that I've ever tried them, unless they are made of soy. Oh yeah, Leakhorn is vegetarian. Yeah. The sync issue varies from person to person, it seems. Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Number 3, it's a bit bizarre. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, in one stream. Iceland sells square sausage and meat. The Sunday roast had problems earlier. Maybe it's... Oh, that's a possibility. That might... They're again saying that. If it's a Sunday roast, their tech ain't great. Just saying. Sorry. Sort of no, you're reading an old chat. Ari cutting... Oh. Let me have a look here. No, it's synced there. Well, I'm only going about that far up. Anyway. Me precious meat. I suspect I wouldn't be surprised, number 3. I will double check that. If not, I'll have to reload the whole machine, I suppose. Oh God, let's go back up again. I got it. That's it. Where was I? That one. This is... No, not that one. Oh, it's all sent to try, I'll tell you. How's that one? There we go. So, yeah, okay, there's another clip there for you. And this guy's got a very valid point. Da-dong. Commentator for Sky News highlights the right-wing bias of the BBC from the chairman and director general to the BBC board member. It's only a minute long.
A lot of people are looking at this and saying, how come Andrew Neil, one of the most high-profile political journalists and interviewers on the BBC for many, many years, how come he is allowed to be the chairman of a right-wing magazine, The Spectator? How come he is allowed to express political opinions on Twitter as much as he wants? How come the chairman of the BBC, Richard Sharp, the chairman, is somebody who donated £400,000 to the Conservative Party, someone who has helped arrange an £800,000 loan for the former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson? How come Robbie Gibb, or as we have to call him, Sir Robbie Gibb, who used to be the communications director for the former Prime Minister, Theresa May, how come he's on the BBC board at the moment? Why is Alan Sugar allowed to say what he wants on Twitter about political matters? What about Jeremy Clarkson? He's got a column in The Sun. He's got a column in the Sunday Times. He was on the BBC. He frequently expressed political opinions which many people think are extreme on social media. And why is the Director General of the BBC, Tim Davie, the Director General? He used to be the Deputy Chairman of the Hammersmith and Fulham Conservative Party. He's a man who's stood as a candidate in local elections for the Conservative Party. So why is all this allowed, yet Gary Lineker is not allowed to make a fairly innocuous comment, which many, many people would agree with, about a policy that has been condemned by the United Nations and also by many human rights groups. And this is the same Gary Lineker who's been allowed on the BBC to criticise the human rights record of Qatar. Why is he not allowed to criticise the human rights record of the country he lives in?
Spot on. Well, I know my sink has been out, but according to Chet, thanks for Mark's biggest fan. To avoid confusion, your sink is fine. It might be slightly off by many seconds, but hardly noticeable. But don't worry about it. Yeah, I will try and perfect it, because that'll bug me as well. But everyone's saying about my sink, and his sink is fine. Well, yeah, okay, it's Sky. They got more tech than I have, and they got a team of people. It's just little old me here, you know. I could do with a producer. That's what they need, a producer. Oh, cheers, my friend. Yeah. So I'm sorry about a few techie issues. That's thrown me, to be fair. You know, when I get put right off track. I had all this stuff set up at the top here, and I only got through half of it. Oh, dear. Yeah, Fiona Bruce's husband works for a company that has done advertisements for the Conservative government. They're all in each other's pockets. It's cronyism, isn't it? It just is. It's cronyism. Chris Murphy. The blueprint for the Nazis was actually based on Eton. Maybe it was based on Eton. Well, crikey, actually look at Boris Johnson and fancy trying to give his them and dad a peerage. Nepotism, isn't it? Should have 500 people watching this? Oh yeah, right. That could happen, is it? I used to get more people, but not so many these days. No. Then again, I don't get so many views as I used to get either. So the problem, I think some of my videos before were a little bit risque, and I think maybe that helped me get more views. But the thing is that I had to delete most of them because they just wouldn't comply with the YouTube's policies, and I've already got one strike, so I've got to be careful. Shut me down, they will, forever. Scroll down. And if he leaves in a sacked, the MOTD, as in the match of the day, presenter role is a poisoned chalice. That's a real valid point there, actually, because anyone who does take that job on, everyone's going to, well, those who supported Gary Lineker are going to boycott whoever takes over. I think it was being a bit of a traitor, I suppose. Because that's kind of what a right-wing person would do, isn't it? That's what they say. Fiona Bruce dismissed a domestic violence on air. She did. Yeah, on the question time. She pretty much just well, I mentioned it earlier, but Stanley Johnson is a wife beater, alleged a wife beater, and his wife, who's dead now, actually, she's passed away. I think she died last year, actually. Was it last year or the year before? Anyway, she passed away. And I think she had a bit of a hell of a life, to be fair. Anyway, she ended up in hospital with a broken nose after her husband and Stanley Johnson, Alexander Boris Johnson's father, smashed her in the face. Not be funny, to warrant you going to hospital, it's got to be a pretty severe attack, hasn't it? It's not just a bleeding nose, is it? It was a bust nose. It's obviously needed correction. Yeah, resetting. So a horrible piece of work. And don't forget, he's also the one who thought it. Caroline Noakes had to put a nice seat. Well, he said that after he slapped her on the butt. Yeah, and that was sort of at a time of Conservative Party vote. He lost the vote. Actually, she won the vote or something. Anyway, or did he win the vote or something else? Anyway, whatever happened, she got a butt smacked by Stanley Johnson. Yeah, he's a perv, basically. He's a violent perv. And I don't even remember, a few years ago, Gary and Boris Johnson, the police got called to their flat because the neighbours were concerned that there was some violence going on. I wouldn't be a bit surprised that Alexander Boris the Pfeffel Johnson, him.
I vote to stay in the single market. I'm in favour of the single market. I want to be part. I want us to be able to trade freely with our European friends and partners.
That numpty. I reckon he's aggressive. An angry man. Yeah, it was confirmed, wasn't it? I think Fiona Bruce did actually say that had been confirmed, but it only happened once or something. Something like that she said, wasn't it? It's a bit, Yeah, a groper, allegedly. But then, you know what Alexander Boris Pfeffel Johnson, he likes gropers. Like Chris Pincher, the Pincher. Gave him a job, even though he knew that he was, a sex offender, basically. He liked groping men. He's got precedents for it as well. I don't know if the tractor porn guy, whether he had precedents, whether if he made a habit of it. But Kipper, okay, there you go.
Kipper. Kipper.
Oh dear. And our papers tried to dox the neighbours rather than folk. Oh, they did, didn't they? Remember they? They like to shut up. Yeah, pincher by name, pincher by nature. That was the words of Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. Yet he still gave him a job. And that ended up being of that, and the Patson affair ended up being his undoing. Not Partygate, although it wouldn't have helped. So now you got Sue Gray. She's joined the Labour Party, and so what? She only did the flipping report on the Partygate. Well, it's quite desperate of the Tories to try and to undermine the validity of the report. It's quite pathetic, really, to be honest. But there's the Tories for you. They'll do anything. And just like what's going on at the moment regarding this current dead cat, hence Gary Lineker. Yeah. You can't make this poop up. No. It's all about poop. It's everywhere, Now Northern Ireland's got issues. And Northern Ireland's water is public. Like Scotland, But Scotland hasn't got the same issues, no. They managed to process most. Their actual CSOs have been used for the right reasons, even though it shouldn't really be happening even then. But at least it's there to protect the the sewage works, not used for a way of actually just reducing the costs of the sewage works. And I think the sewage works actually in Northern Ireland are in quite a lot of debt, considerable amount of debt. So I won't be a bit surprised at dumping the stuff because they can't afford to process it. The acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. Nope, you're right. Stu. AllShorts. Nobody, not even YouTube, could close you down, Marcus. I'm afraid YouTube could close me down. And that's why I spent 2 days going through all my videos and privating them. Even though apparently it doesn't make much difference. They can still do you for it. But at least I can't get reported on videos that no one can see. So there's that to it. I had one there with a cucumber and Widdicombe. When I think about it, that was a little bit ill thought through, that one was. And it also had Patrick Chrissy in it as well. That was quite a funny video, actually. It was about Patrick Chrissy and how they're going on about cucumbers and stuff. So I strategically placed a flying cucumber. And, and she was... Anne Widdicombe was in saucy underwear. Anyway, let's not get into that. It's rather disgusting when I think about it, but there you go. Yeah, they dumped that policy. There's an... okay. They dumped that policy. There's an update video in YouTube soon. Yes, they have now regarding the language. On the language are dumped, don't they? They've... I mentioned it earlier. What they've done is they've... Because they had the rule was that all swear words were considered the same. Unless it was like hell or damn and words like that. Blasphemy sort of words. They're okay. But words like bloody and other really offensive, like the C word or the F word or the M word, they're all put into the same boat, into the same bucket, and all treated the same, for which then you get strikes. Or you can't get monetized if it's, in some cases, if it's in the video repeatedly. Some people literally just constantly using the F word all the time. It's like it's, and the C word. The C word is used quite, well, you know what us Brits are like, we use the C word a lot. So I've heard. I didn't realise it's not used very much in the United States. No, the F word probably, but we know that. But not the C word. It's very offensive, apparently. Scottish Water mainly use non-chemical filtration to clean our sewage. Actually, Mad Monk 33, that's kind of how it's done here. For instance, our Lee Core knows where I'm talking about, as an Ordal Fair, they have the communal system is a reed bed system in Orador, and many communes are the same. That instead of having to because we've got to remember about France, it's such a big country, you've got to get that sewage from point A to B, so it makes sense to process it in each commune, and that's pretty much what happens here. Unless you're near big cities and and places like that, well then obviously they'll use quite large processing, and some of them are quite antiquated as well. They're quite old, and even they need investment. Maybe not quite as much as in the United Kingdom. But I know they keep telling us that the infrastructure, there's a problem with the infrastructure. It's old Victorian and what have you, regarding all the pipeways. And I've said this before. But it's, if they're managing to get that stuff, that poop, to the rivers and to the sea, well then it's coming from the house and getting to the sewage works, because the CSOs are not far from the actual sewage works. The combined sewage outlets where they're pumping all the poop into the rivers and seas. So they're just lying. It's just lie. It's just a blatant lie and an excuse. And people, well, they listen to it and take it all in and they believe it. People are gullible. Most people are gullible. But sadly, end of the day, they think the BBC is impartial, don't they? Marcus's biggest fan says the algorithm only checks the first. It's changed there. It says first 7 seconds in the video. As far as the policy is concerned, the terms of service. But some of it will be. If you get a strike or a video demonetized, you get an email, and you go to me. It basically tells you that you've got a problem. So you go into it and they click on it, and it brings up the video. But it doesn't tell you where the problem is. So if you've got a live stream, 2 or 3 hours, I've got to watch the whole live stream to find where a potential issue is. And even then, I can't guarantee that is correct, that I'm right. All the same with every video. And I have over 3,000 videos I've privated on this channel. Over 3,000 videos. That is a big chunk of my life, And there's no way I could watch all them. And even so, it doesn't make any difference, really, in some ways, because once they're up, they're up. So what I'm going to do, delete them all? And I had a bit of a style that I was doing in most of my videos before, which were a bit risque. Not Lee, you take care, my friend. Oh, so people using the C word constantly. Ah, you mean Graham's? I did, when this new terms of service came out, I did actually contact Graham Hughes, and I have to admit, he says, oh, that's me buggered, and he says, Yeah, I do still speak to Graham quite a bit, you know. I say quite a bit, you know, every couple of weeks. We sort of, only via Messenger on Twitter. Because he's come off, not Twitter, on Facebook, because he's come off Twitter. Oh, there. Good night, Lee. Take care, my friend. And thanks for your help as well. An Englishman's home is his hassle. There's the truth of that, you know. If you live in an old house like mine, it's constantly moving. This whole place is it's stone and clay, basically. So it's always moving with the ground. So when there's a lot of rain, the ground swells up and the house moves. When it's really dry, the ground shrinks and the house moves. But I'll come into our pantry. It's never done this before, but now it's touching the ground. You can't try open the door. It's sticking now halfway through. It's never done that before. And believe you me, I fit a door properly. Well, I fit thousands and thousands of doors. I have. That's kind of a job. So anyway, get rid of him for a second. So, one last thing I want to talk about. I'll tell you something else that's been quite interesting. Is so in the war in Ukraine, how they're using drones to actually fight this war. Obviously, you know, you've got the Iranian drones as well, which are causing a huge amount of damage to Ukraine. But also, the Ukrainians are using domestic drones, a bit like what I've got. You know, there's one sitting on the shelf, and there's Darth Vader behind me in a little grey box, and that's my Anafi Parrot Anafi. Well, but basically, they've made mechanisms so they can operate a hand grenade and drop hand grenades from them, from domestic drones, like little DJI Mavics. Remember, these are Chinese drones as well, so it's like, China is helping. They don't know it yet. So, anyway, what I want to talk about is something else. Now, obviously, we've got you probably already heard about David Attenborough as well. And I made a video about this already, in that there was regarding a particular show, which was going to have 6 episodes and only had 5. Apparently, they got a lot of backlash, again, from the Tories, to not play that last show. They already played all the others, and the people were expecting that final episode, and it didn't get played. So the BBC has decided not to broadcast an episode of Sir David Attenborough's flagship new series on the British wildlife, because on British wildlife, because affairs themes of the destruction of the nature would risk backlash from the Tory politicians and the right-wing press. The Guardian has been told. The decision has angered the programme makers and some insiders at the BBC, who fear the corporation has bowed to pressure from lobbying groups with dinosaurian ways. Yeah.
I think it's rather uplifting.
Probably. The BBC strongly denied this was the case and insisted that the episode in question was never intended for broadcast. And they've stuck to that all the way along. But why would you... You're not going to produce a whole episode just so we're not going to play that. For starters, a lot of money. It doesn't sound like there's any real reason not to play it, apart from the fact is it shows the United Kingdom in a bad light regarding our environment. Now, Attenborough's highly anticipated new series, Wild Isles, looks at the beauty of nature in the British Isles. Narrated by David Attenborough, is expected to be hit with 5 episodes scheduled to go out on primetime slots on BBC One. But the 6th episode was also filmed, which is understood to be a start look at the losses of nature. Yeah, this is serious, really. The thing is, if we hide this away from people, but no one's going to know, are they? And everything's tickety-boo. Oh, look, it's a kingfisher. Well, losses of nature in the UK and what has caused the declines. Probably all those redcoats. Did anyone see the video clip of the fox being ripped to pieces in someone's backyard, caught on CCTV, on their, security cameras? But it's also understood to include some examples of rewilding, a concept that has been controversial in some right-wing circles. Well, I've been doing some rewilding here in France. I've been making bat boxes, bird boxes, and hedgehog houses as well. I need to build an owl roost, but I need a good plan because it's I don't want to mess that one up. I think it's pretty much just a box really on the wall, so you just create them a bit of a shelter. They don't have a hole. They don't have that little hole to get in, like in like, for the great tits or the blue tits and what have you. Well, actually, robins, they have they have an open nest on a robin. Anyway, the documentary series was part funded by the nature cat charities, the WWF, and not the wrestling, no, and the RSPCB. But the final episode will not be broadcast. But these people have got together and they're going to be playing, I think whether they're going to be playing that one or doing something very similar, to pretty much expose the situation. It needs to. Definitely. You know. But David Attenborough, though, you think he was sitting there, wasn't he, with his mask on, during the pandemic, and Boris Johnson sat there beside him, literally beside him, without his mask on. That's the sort of concern that Boris Johnson has for other people. He doesn't care about anybody. Not a dicky bird. You know what he said, don't you? Let the bodies pile high. He meant it. He didn't give a diddly squat. And they don't give a damn about the environment either. No. Diddly squat. Their scientists are warned of phosphageddon. But when I first find these articles, I play these on so I can get on with something else and literally just do a voice thing. So I click the voice button in the extensions on Google Chrome, and it reads it to me, so I can get on with something. So I know what it's about, and then when I work on or do what I need to do, or do my other research, it gives me a bit of information, doesn't it? Well, it couldn't pronounce it. Phosphageddon. It was phosphageddon or something like that. It was something bizarre. Anyway, we've got excessive use of phosphorus in the United Kingdom. I wouldn't be a bit surprised here in the EU as well. And you know what's going on with in the Netherlands at the moment. A lot of the farmers and what have you have been kicking off a fuss because the reduction in nitrogen use. So the farmers, because they need to put the nitrogen on the fields to be able to get the crops. Whereas we should be looking at other ways of actually increasing the nitrogen. It's basically free chemicals plus mineral deposits and trace elements that we need. Obviously, it's the potassium, phosphorus, and nitrogen. It's like the John Innans mix for fertilizer, and that's what we need for growth for plants, pretty much, and obviously sunlight. And so you keep using, the soil is depleted, so we have to add it. That's the problem with intensive farming. We're trying to get as much as we possibly can out of the soil, so we apply copious amounts of chemicals, either in powder, liquid, or usually a grain form, and spread with spreaders. And then obviously we had a period of time where we were using huge amounts of pesticides, but also herbicides such as Roundup, form of glyphosate, 360 GL. Now I used to spray this stuff. I've got my oh crikey, what's it called now? Oh my giddy, what's it called again? My City Girls years ago I did. There's boom sprayer. Part 6. They do all your Lee wrap and stuff. So look, your perimeters where water courses are and stuff. Anyway, it's a long while ago. Anyway, you have to have a certificate to be able to commercially use just even a knapsack spray or spraying by hand or boom sprayer. Anyway, the planet faces a phosphageddon, apparently. Let's just reposition that because it's not in. A phosphageddon, that's it. Scientists have warned our misuse of phosphorus could lead to deadly shortages of fertilizers that would disrupt global food production. Now, they were talking about food security. Well, you're not going to do it if you can't grow the food in the first place because you don't fertilizer shortages that we're suffering with anyway at the moment because obviously the war in Ukraine. But don't forget, these shortages were happening for the United Kingdom way before the war in Ukraine. Well, I think it was over a year ago, actually. I did videos on it. Due to Brexit. Such a load of numpties put that cross in the wrong box. Like they did, yeah. So, I think all my t-shirts are getting loose now because I've been losing weight. Yeah, I've lost a bit of weight. Lost 5 kilos, just over. It's only 6 kilos now. Anyway, at the same time, the phosphate fertilizers washed off the fields, so runoff, together with sewage inputs. I also forget that we're not just talking about the sewage as in the poop that we're putting in the rivers and seas. We're talking about from the cows as well, from the cow sheds. Because, like, for instance, when all the animals are put in the sheds over the winter, the whole lots get scooped out in the beginning of the following year. And before Brexit, the rule was you could only put a certain amount onto the land, just muck spread, you know. Instead, in France, what they like to do, they like to muck spread the Marys and the council office buildings, and maybe Lidl's, and maybe dump a whole load in an oldie car park somewhere and burn a few hay bales on a roundabout. Yeah, block a road. That's what happens here. But anyway, so massive problems regarding sewage and it's ending up into the rivers, lakes and seas. We all know this, don't we? We've heard it so many times. And it's giving a rise in widespread algae blooms. Oh, sounds lovely. And creating aquatic dead zones that threaten fish stocks. Now, we also have a problem with the fish stocks. I did a video about this, I think it was last week, or was it this week? Anyway, a video about this regarding Chess Smith and that t-shirt. Yeah, it's in my shop. Fish stocks regarding the microplastistosis. They're finding that it's damaging their digestive tract. No, that's birds. That's birds. Yes. No, it's PFAs and PFOs. You know, the forever chemicals that have been found in the fish and damaging the livers and God knows what else. Yeah, we're basically just absolutely destroying our food chain. We're going to be at the bottom of the food chain at this rate, I'm saying. Well, so widespread algae blooms and creating aquatic dead zones that threaten fish stocks. In addition, overuse of the element is increasing releases of methane, a bit like me, across the planet. Adding to, I'm talking about methane. My missus, ever since she's had this operation, she farts. She never used to fart, not like she does now. We used to enjoy a bath together. These days, it's just like bubbles. Anyway, that's another story. You can ask her about that next week because she's going to be joining me in the live stream. Oh, anyway, adding to the global heating and the climate crisis caused by carbon emissions, and researchers have warned. Now, we have reached a critical turning point, said Professor Phil Algarve of Lancaster University. We might be able to turn back, but we have really got to pull ourselves together and be an awful lot smarter in the way that we use phosphorus. Now, if we don't, we face a calamity that we have termed the Phosphageddon. They do love these names, don't they? They really do. It's just like, the Tory party. Stop the boats. That's what they say now. Stop the boats on their little lecterns. God's sake. You really can't. They are just awful. These people are just awful. I just hope people wake up. I just really hope the population wakes up. They're just foul individuals. Anyway, phosphorus was discovered in 1669 by a German scientist, Hennig Brandt, who isolated it from urine. Oh. But not hold it much longer. Anyway, and has since been shown to be essential to life. Bones' teeth are largely made of the mineral calcium. We all know that, don't we? We're told to drink our milk. Until the blooming Margaret Thatcher, the milk snatcher, stole it from us. Got rickets now. Anyway, what's that vitamin D? Calcium phosphate, a compound derived from it, while the element also provides DNA with its sugar phosphate backbone. To put it simply, there's no life on Earth without phosphorus. Oh. Explained Professor Penny Jonas of the Bristol University. The element's global importance lies in its use to help crop growth. About 50 million tonnes of phosphate fertiliser are sold around the world every year, and these supplies play a crucial role in feeding the planet's 8 billion inhabitants. I think it's actually 7.8 billion, actually. You say, well, there you go. There's probably a whole load of people we don't actually know exist. Yeah, they probably haven't. Yeah, they haven't done the electoral roll in some tribe somewhere. Maybe that cannibal tribe. I don't know. Anyway, however, significant deposits of phosphorus are found in only a few countries, Morocco and Western Sahara have the largest amount. China, the second biggest deposit, and Algeria, the third. Okay, so got into Algeria. Well, China will be in there. They've probably signed that one up already. Well, in contrast, reserves in the US are down to about 1% of previous levels. Oh my God. While Britain has always had to rely on imports, hence importation of fertilisers. Traditional rock phosphate reserves are relatively rare and have become depleted in line with their extraction for fertiliser production. And as you know, when you produce fertiliser, you produce like CO2 gas. I think that's like a byproduct, producing nitrogen fertilisers. Well, this growing strain on stocks has raised fears the world will reach peak phosphorus in a few years. So, okay. So not talking about 50 years, though. They're just talking in a few years. That's a little concerning. Supplies will then decline, leaving many nations struggling to obtain enough to feed their people. Oh my God. Maybe Stanley Johnson was right then. When Stanley Johnson, you know, Alexander Boris Fethel Johnson's father, you know, the...
Kipper.
When he said that, I'd like to see around... the population in the United Kingdom reduced to about 13 million people. That's what he said. He's probably got a point, actually, looking at this. We're going to cull them all? Maybe. Can we start with the Tories? Maybe. Let's start with right-wing nut jobs. You've got to do a test. First, actually, let's start with the Brexiters. That's the start. We do a big cull. Is that allowed? No? Okay, anyway. So, he said that. But he said, well... Okay, I'll be sort of happy with 25 million, he says. But then we've got 67 million in the United Kingdom, and 7.8 billion in the world, apparently. Well, the prospect concerns many analysts who worry that food cartels could soon control most of the world's supplies. Well, that's what China's doing. With all their mineral deposits, such as the deposits and certain minerals and metals, heavy metals that we use for batteries, lithium batteries and what have you, and leave the West highly vulnerable to soaring prices. Now, what I found quite interesting is the mint, as in the Royal Mint, people who make the money, squish the money and what have you, make coins and stuff. But because in the United Kingdom and various other countries around the world, we're doing more digital currency or trading with, credit cards and transfers and super chats. And as a result, we don't use so much cash. So the requirement for cash has become, less of a requirement. So the Royal Mint has decided in their wisdom that they're going to do something different. So what they're doing is they've set up, they built a big factory, and it should be coming online this year, where they're going to be processing circuit boards, old, disused electronics, recycling. They're going to extract the metals, all the heavy metals, and whatever they can from this stuff. The only thing is, though, they didn't say it's going to be going back into more technology and stuff like that. They're going to be making jewellery. Oh dear, that's not going to help. No. But anyway, we in the UK, we do not have enough mineral deposits and we rely on imports. And at the moment, it's China, and China's kicking off. TikTok is under a huge amount of pressure, which is, I forgot the name of the company now. Oh, it's founded in 2014, I think it was, or 2000. Oh, anyway. Oh, what's it called now? Who owns TikTok. Anyway, the company owns TikTok under a huge amount of pressure because state-owned, or at least the Chinese state has got their fingers in that pie, and the FBI wants it to be banned in the United Kingdom, literally shut down in the US, but also in the Czech Republic, but also the EU is not convinced that the promises by TikTok saying that we won't share your data, they're not convinced it's honest. Now, for obvious reasons, because obviously Xi Jinping and China's involved, and you can't trust China, unfortunately. And I'm not referring to the people of China at all. I'm sure there's very many wonderful people in China. And I will also say probably in Russia as well. Not everyone supports our war. And those who do, many of them have been brainwashed. They're going to, I suppose you could use that argument with Brexiters. I'm not quite so sympathetic. Sorry. Because they are literally, well...
And tremendously wet.
They certainly are, I must say. Well, they still are and all. My God, there's a cartel, a cabal, that is running the Tory party. Now, me and Mrs. got together. Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister. And not be funny, I'd rather have her than what we got at the moment. She did actually do some good, Margaret Thatcher. Dare I say it? Apart from the milk and poll tax. Lots of other stuff. But they obviously got the war, the Falklands War, which is kicking off again. Not necessarily a war at the moment, but 2016, a deal was struck between the United Kingdom and Argentina regarding basically accepting that the other side believes they've got sovereignty over the Falklands. So it's agree to disagree, basically. Well, they ripped it up early this year after that summit, that meeting, G7 or whatever it was. Anyway, they got ripped up. So that is like then James Cleverly, he then stands up and says it just confirms that that the Falklands is sovereign territory of the United Kingdom. The thing is, the United Kingdom regarding our military is not in a very strong place at the moment. We keep building things we don't have the armaments, the munitions to put on board, such as the 2 aircraft carriers. That HMS Queen Elizabeth went out without full armament, so it's half full. It's not very clever, is it? They're supposed to be literally kitted up to the gunnels every time they go out, just in case. It's the whole point. Isn't it? To be prepared. Isn't that why we got nuclear missiles? Oh, okay. Yeah. So-called defence. Let's not get into that one. But anyway, so anyway, the predicament was summed up regarding these chemicals, summed up by the science fiction writer Isaac Asimov. Life can multiply until all the phosphorus is gone, and then there is an inexorable halt, which nothing can prevent. So, because we've buggered our environment up, and we've buggered it up. There's so many things for all different directions. We've got depletion of our soils. Our soils are literally been blown away by the winds because there's no substrate to it. We've got the fact that we've got all these PFAs and what have you, and stopping our sperm being able to swim straight. I kid you not. So the fertility rates are going down. Obviously, people are are choosing not to have families or only one child, what have you, because they don't want to bring them into this world. And now we've got obviously global warming as well. On top of all this stuff, it's just like everything. So I think it's just going to escalate at such a rate that we can't do nothing about it. It's rather, how to put it, it's rather scary, I think, anyway. Sorry. Hope you sleep well tonight. Anyway, these dangers were also highlighted last week with the publication in the US of The Devil's Element, Phosphorus and the World Out of Balance, by the environment writer Dan Egan. Was he one of the Ghostbusters? Don't cross the streams! Don't cross the streams! No! Get off that toilet while you're at it. Anyway, so this book has yet to be published in the United Kingdom. They'll probably get blocked by the Tories, you see. They'll be kicking off. There'll be 36 Tory MPs and they'll be lobbying. Anyway, but it mirrors the concerns recently raised by British scientists. They say we have become profligate. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's a funny word, even though what it means. Profligate? Profligate? What's that mean? Well, in the use of phosphates. Now we put on our fields. The fertiliser washed from them and discharges of phosphorus-rich effluent. lovely, have triggered large-scale contamination of water and created harmful algae blooms. Some of the world's biggest bodies of fresh water are now afflicted. This includes Russia's Lake Baikal, Lake Victoria in Africa, and North America's Lake Erie. The blooms at Erie have led to poisoning of local drinking water in recent years. Yeah. I think one's got anything to do with Nestle. Well, just as they do on land, phosphates help aquatic plants to grow, said Haygarth, who is the co-author of The Phosphorus Past and Future. And that is now having a calamitous consequences in rivers, lakes and seas choked by blooms. Many of these bodies of water have become dead zones where few creatures survive, which are expanding. Well, we also have, what about, did anyone really get to the bottom of the fact that all that incrustations and what have you, and fish was getting washed up on the coastline? The northeast, but also down south as well. Millions of incrustations, just like mussels and including lobsters and various other obviously fish and that as well. Happy fish, yeah, them as well.
They're now British fish, and they're better and happier fish for it.
Die. So yeah, it's obviously a major issue, isn't it? Do people really pay any attention to it? No wonder you got the kids there gluing their hands to the roads, get locked up now for 10 years. Well, such crises has also other environmental problems. Climate change means that we will get more algae blooms per unit of phosphate pollution because of the warmer conditions. Was it the Gulf Stream or something? The Gulf Stream shifted. I think it's coming more safe, and it's what protects us from the cold, basically. Well, the weather front has changed. Because of the warmer conditions, said Professor Brian Spears of the UK Centre for Ecology, Hydrology and in Midlothian. The problem is that when the algae dies, it can decay to produce methane. So a rise in blooms will mean more methane will be pumped into the atmosphere, and methane is 80 times more potent than carbon dioxide at the warming of the atmosphere. It is the cause of real concern. Now, Spears led a team, which included Haygarth and Jones, that wrote that recent report, Our Phosphorus Future, in which they outlined the measures needed to head off our impending crisis. Now, these include improving the ways we recycle phosphorus and ensure there is a global shift to healthy diets with low phosphorus footprints. The thing is, with recycling, we all need to obviously do the right thing. My father, he was terrible. Absolutely terrible. He had the recycling bins. That's like token effort. It really is. But when they're producing packaging, for instance, that it might have recyclable materials, but they're not recyclable because there's two different materials stuck together, like sandwich boxes and stuff. It's ridiculous. Renders the whole thing unrecyclable because it's not cost effective to do so. It shouldn't really even be an issue, but it shouldn't really be a reason, but it is. Do we really need that clear window? Do we really need sandwiches in boxes? Why can't we go to, I don't know, to Subway? They don't come in boxes. Or do they now? Well, these include improving ways to recycle phosphorus and ensure there is a global shift to healthy diets with low phosphorus footprints. We need to be growing our own food or buying locally or doing syndicates with other people. Now, who thoroughly witnessed all? I don't know if the program's still going, but he set up a website that allowed people with a bit of land to offer the land to people to dig over designated areas for little allotments on private land. And the idea being is you share a bit, you grow a bit, and then, in return for the use of their land, you give them a bit of veg as well. Bit of a bartering going off. It's a great idea. But I doubt it's still going. The problem with a lot of these things is the trends. When people realise they stick that spade in the ground for, crikey, this is hard work, and they give up. It is hard work. Gardening is hard work. Believe you me, I know. Well, with phosphorus, we are also mining mineral reserves. But in this case, we are turning them into fertiliser, which is washed into rivers and seas where they trigger algae blooms again. In both cases, these grand translocations are causing planetary havoc. Oh, the planets have got to align. This is such a concern, and we can jest about this sort of stuff and ignore it, can't we? But the fact of the matter is we shouldn't and we mustn't. It's madness. Oh, what's been going on? Mark's his biggest fan. I was only having a joke. What did the pick say? Okay, let's go back to... Okay, yeah. Jerome Marios, don't mention German here, mate. Most are English and think they won the war. Single-handed. There's some truth in that. My dad was like that, I'll tell you. Oh, my God. I keep forgetting. I wonder if I got it here. Time's pressing on. I got it here. I did have it in my drawer here. My grandfather's little book. He carted around Germany during the war, and he wrote notes in it, and it's fascinating. I keep promising to bring that out. The thing is, I could do scanning it and actually here it is. This is my grandfather's little diary, and he was in Germany. Well, you're going across France into Germany, the Belsen camp, and there's a mixture of stuff in there, from recipes that he'd learned from various people, because he liked to cook, but also he's one hell of a gardener. He really was. And when he left when he obviously after the war, what have you, he went back into civilian life. Eventually, he bought an ex-MOD greenhouse, and he used to work for the Milk Marketing Board. Until he was a manager, before that he was just on the floats. And there were electric floats at times. I remember they're really slow, they were. Like the co-op floats, the co-op Milk Marketing Board. Anyway, he used to sell tomatoes and stuff to people on his milk round. So it was all customers and that. He was a lovely man, my grandfather. He was such a lovely fella. And he said after the war, he voted to be, for the single market, what have you. The customs union, or not customs union, what was it? Oh, I can't think straight, I'm so tired. Anyway, he voted for Europe. My dad voted against it. When my dad asked him why, what my grandfather said is, if it stops another war, boy, it's worth it. And haven't we had a European war since until now? So yeah, you're better holding hands. That's what you are. And in this little book, I'll be very careful because it's quite delicate. So the page is actually starting to fall out. You see, yeah. It says here, Dieppe, taken on September the 1st, 1944. See that on top there. Paris fell on Sunday, August the 26th, 1944. I think it's Vendy, taken on September the 1st, 1944. So it's like they're advancing. Romania fight, it's really hard to read, with the Russian Far East, I think the Far East, with the Russian something or other, first, on Thursday the 31st of August. God. Notes of importance. Oh, it's some of these addresses. Okay. But then we've got these random little recipes in there stuff as well. And films. He's got a list of films that he hasn't seen yet. Oh, must-see films. Films. Notorious. Ingrid Bergen, I think it's it. And Claude, Joanna Godden. The Love of Joanna Godden. Goody. God, I'm going to scan this in and see it because it's quite hard. The pencil's all fading. Its handwriting's lovely though. That's when we used to have proper handwriting. My handwriting's terrible, and it's just got worse because obviously we do everything with computers now, don't we? Half the time I'm doing like voice to text. Yeah, it does struggle with my accent, I have to admit. Oh, dear. As soon as the one guy got shot here, a bullet first in the in the mouth was taken in the lungs. What? A bullet in the mouth was taken in the lungs? That's possible. Okay. As soon as he knew Barton had returned and had returned and rang out with a gun. Barton was hit with a bullet first in the mouth, then in the lungs. Oh, so his mouth and then shot twice. He was taken to the hospital, to the Ross Hospital, but died on the way. The young man was arrested by Bartlett's assassination. I'm going to scan this in so I can read it, because I can't. It's really hard to read. This bit's quite nicer. Crikey. Going about Zeebrugge and the railway. Target taken out. April the 18th. The 1324th day of the war. Ventures of the Bomber Command. Attacked the something at Dieppe. At Dieppe. It's tiny writing, as you can see, but I'm going to scan this in and zoom this up and see where I can use some software. It's mostly our software that might help to work out what someone says about prisoners and about the prisoners. Or Spelson. No one's seen this. This was after my dad had this. He didn't read it and tell me anything about it. And this was my grandfather's. Yeah. George Ernest Kett. Anyway, Vicky D, I hope you're well. Not this chat, the biggest one's fine. Meros is often a chat rule where there's fast-running chat so the mods can easily monitor content and make sure it's not breaking the rules. So that's interesting. There we go. Who's breaking the rules? I'll tell you what we haven't had it. I don't know, has anyone seen any bots yet? Any rude bots? Scroll up a little bit, don't scroll too far. Slava, Ukraine. Yes, most definitely. Let's start with the bomb. The Fort Police are here. Oh, who are the Fort Police? The current bill by the Tories breaks all conventions that the UK either proposed or signed. Which bill are we talking about now? Is this the are you talking about the refugee bill? What? Who are we talking about? Let's go up again. Who's sub-ignorant? The Tories are the chaos. They are. Chaos theory politics. The Tories are the chaos. Poland got a raw deal. They did. And, what? Wally. Oh, God. Wally. Oh, no, there you are. And again? Oh, okay. I haven't got Sebastian, I just got Wally for some reason. They've probably gone upstairs and lay on the bed with Mummy. Are they upstairs? Are they, Wally? Wally don't care as long as he gets fed. As long as he gets fed, he's fine. I can't remember what cameras they are. Anyway, let's go back onto a decent camera. That's the other problem I've got here, is that I've got 3 cameras running. I've got this one, got that one, and that one. See, no doggies. Doggies are gone. And obviously they're gobbling out power from the computer as well. And 1948. Oh. The biggest fan says 1938 and 51 were big years in people being protected when fleeing persecution. Yes, Winston Churchill, he signed 2 agreements. Did you do the common market, maybe? Oh, common market, yeah. It's not... Oh. No, don't tell me that. Sync us out again. Oh, for God's sake. It looks like a... What? Yeah, okay, Mad Monk. So 1948-51, and another... The Refugee Bill. The Refugee Bill. Okay, yeah. Well, that's a thing. And obviously that's what's going on with Gary Lineker and what have you as well. So all over this Refugee Bill. Which teeters on the edge of... well, actually, I did actually have something here about that. Did I find it? Because she knows it's not legal. She being that woman that is awful. I can't find it now. Not that one. Is it there? She pretty much said that there was elements of that bill that was teetering on the edge. It's not, as far as the European Commission of Human Rights, it's not going to go through, is it? The European Court of Justice is going to say, no, not on your Nelly. And then they'll say, well, we're going to have to leave the European Commission of Human Rights then. But I can't see it being done in this government, and they're not likely to get in. As things stand at the moment. Not if the polls or anything to go by. So, I did. I had something about that here earlier. Is that one? No, Felix. Was it over there? Oh, where have I lost it all? Aha, here it is. I found it. All right. Well, she even put a footnote in, as part of this bill. It said that the European Convention on Human Rights, it's right at the top of the bill. It says, Secretary Suella Braverman has made the following statement under Section 19(1)(b) of the Human Rights Act 1998. I'm unable to make a statement on that. In my view, the provisions of the illegal migration bill are compatible with the Convention rights, the European Convention of Human Rights, but the government nevertheless wishes the House to proceed with the bill. In the explanatory notes. But we know. Oh, that's nice. Gary Lineker is a poop head. Why? Okay. Scroll that down there. Back we go. Got fine. Oh, I've lost the chat again. And we're back again. Pump says, who's Lee Corn? Well, Lee Corn's gone. He called up earlier as well. He phoned me. Got my number. He's been here, he has. He's come to France and visited. His missus is French, you see. And the family lives not far from Limoges. So they visit. And Lee Corn is a lovely, lovely, lovely chap. That's not his real name, obviously, but, But I won't let that slip. So, and the other camera is in sync. Very funny. Right, well, I'm going to call it in a second as well, because I'm actually getting to the point where I'm very, very tired. I'm slurring. I can tell. Night Joe. Night Walk Beach. Hope it will. Oh my God, yeah, it's getting late. It's 11 o'clock in the UK, and it's 12 o'clock here. Wally! He's a lovely little boy, my Wally is. He's such a nice little doggy. He's a pain. He is a real pain, but he's such a loving little thing. He's got attachment disorder to me. He's having meds. And seeing the therapist. Honey Wally. I know he's gone to the back there now. There he is. See that sofa at the back there? We never get to sit on there. There's always got dogs on it. And we put another sofa in the kitchen area. And we can never get to sit on that because there's always dogs on it. Wherever we are, there's a sofa. The dogs have to sit on the sofa. And then in our lounge, we have another sofa. It's quite a large sofa. It's like an L-shaped thing. And it's always got dogs on that. So we end up sitting on the floor. Something wrong there. The refugee bill is evil. Oh, Pump says, I know who Lee is. Secret. Be our little secret. Shh. She states that there's more than 50% chance it doesn't confirm with the law. I know. That pretty much says it doesn't confirm with the law. She knows it doesn't. Asked if she's even read it. They didn't read the Trend Corporation Agreement, did they? They were too busy at Nativity. That always gets me, that does. The Wally Cam! That's what I've called it, actually. It's called the Wally Cam. Me too. Good night, everyone. Take care, friend. Thanks again, number 3. Hopefully I can sort my tech out for next week. And the missus is going to be joining me for a little bit as well. So I want to talk about the crap that's going on regarding the schools and, well, disability, PIPS payment and stuff, and how they've been screwed over by Tories. My son's disabled, you see, so I think we've got the right to say something on this, so, you know, we know firsthand. You want to get some sauerkraut in your... I have sauerkraut! I do! I've got sauerkraut. Well, French version of it anyway. Choucroute. Which is basically sauerkraut. It's fermented cabbage. Kimchi then. I can have kimchi then. That's fermented cabbage and radish and lots of chilli. Yeah, South Korean dish. It's rather nice, actually. I do like fermented foods, actually. Well, it's like chili sauces now that are fermented. You like Tabasco, might you? Lovely. Make me hungry now, just thinking about it. I shouldn't do, because I'm not allowed at the moment. Got to think about my carbs. Mustn't go over 30 grams of carbs. That one is out of sync as well. Okay. Good night, all, and thanks for watching. Night Mad Monk. Hope you're well. Hope you have a nice week and I really appreciate your help, my friend. I really do. It's very much appreciated, that it is. And hope your brother's well. Or brothers. You've got 2 brothers, haven't you? The Twice Mad. Oh. Bye, number 3. Looking after your dogs, Marcus. You'll never know when you might... No, I know. I don't want to think about that, really. That scares the hell out of me, because they are getting old now as well. And they've all got problems. Like I say, it costs a fortune. I mean, medication. Eat him alive? Who? Who am I going to eat live? ECHR membership is a prerequisite of... Oh, God, yeah. But also, isn't that a part... It's in the Good Friday Agreement as well, isn't it? The founders on some of that. Yeah, stupid dog... Yeah, threatening to leave. It is a stupid dog whistle. Well, it ain't going to happen in this government. It ain't going to happen in the next government, so it's not going to happen. And also, the country has already been, by some places, considered as a human rights violator. With what's going on regarding like protest bills and stuff like that. That's your fundamental right. That's what democracy is based on. Is, you know, you must be allowed to protest. You know, that'd be funny. Your vote is a protest against the opposition. Democracy. Oh, nice one. Oh, cheers, Mad Monk. Thank you. Nice one. I don't tell you. Well, I haven't checked it today, so I haven't seen it. Mad Monk, you probably know we're planting trees here, planting 1,000 trees on 2 hectares of land, and Mad Monk has donated, so he's gonna get a tree with his name on. Maybe we can do that in the live stream, Mad Monk. I'll make your sign. Made food the other day after I clicked off, because the stream was going to get a bit long otherwise. After I clicked off, I made another 3 or 4 after that. So I made 3 or 4 in the live stream, and then I made that. So I've got 10 there. I've got 10 there. Another 10. Do. So anyway, I think it's time to go because I am mumbling. I know I'm mumbling because I can hear that I am, and why am I mumbling? It's because I'm absolutely shattered. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep. No. Oh, Vipek. Oh, thanks. Cheers, buddy. Most kind. Yay. Can't have super chat. So, yeah, I'm going to... So, yeah, Gary Lineker. There's a possibility that it might all be sorted out by tomorrow. The next 24 hours, so they're saying.
You have accepted the truth.
According to... Yeah, cheers, Vipek. According to the Sky News... But we'll see. I just hope that they haven't agreed, or hope Gary Lineker hasn't backed down. I think he's quite well placed, actually. I don't think they can. They'll screw the BBC will screw itself. They will. It won't be good. But oh, I don't know if anyone saw this. Did anyone see the James O'Brien show the other morning? And this guy phoned up. I've done one clip of this already. This is another one.
Totally. I don't.
What would the neighbours do? What would the imaginary neighbours do that would make them undesirable?
Bone in my body, but I am culturalist, James.
Say that again.
I'm not prepared.
Say that bit again about the racist bone in your body, because some people missed it.
I don't have a racist bone in my body.
But you don't want to live next door to brown people.
No, I do have a culturalist bone in my body, James.
Culturalist? What does that word mean?
Culture.
No, culturalist, you said.
Well, as in racist, James, for goodness sake. I'm just using
exactly,
it in the same manner.
Yes, exactly, you are. You're not supposed to say that bit out loud.
What?
Well, that you're basically being a racist, but calling it culturalist instead.
James O'Brien does manage to tear them one. The Gammons, that is. These people are just unbelievable, aren't they? They really are. Anyway, I've got one last look at the chat, and then I'm going to leave a video clip with you, and then I am going to go to bed. The Culturist, yes. That's a new one. Yeah, I know. But apparently they're okay for Polish, you see. They blend in. The Polish, you see, because they've got white skins, you see. This guy was unbelievable. Yeah, I know. Sean about Culturist. Yeah, what? Do you Culturist? Oh my god, I watched that. Yeah. Oh, did you see that? Did you? Oh crikey, it's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Make me a sign. This is my pencil. There are many like it, but this one is mine. I use that pencil nearly every day. Mark's biggest pencil. I do appreciate that. I've even got ta-da! Geraldine's. She sent me two more. She sent these two. These Contiga flasks, and about over a year ago now. But anyway, the other day I was speaking to her, I was telling her about somebody passed away, and then 2 days later I get another two in the post. She's lovely, Geraldine. She doesn't do YouTube anymore, though. She's not on there anymore. So yeah, she's basically she's been having a bit of a hard time, family issues and stuff. But anyway. Mr. Blend is what end. Yes, Blend. These people, eh? Why would you phone up a show like James O'Brien? Unless you're doing it because you want... Yeah. I'm not a racist! It's more like...
Because they blend in.
And obviously, you know...
Coming over here, taking our jobs and our women!
Okay. Oh, God. I hope Lineker doesn't go all Henry Strollers. Strollers? I don't know who that is. Peeps, if you wish, After Dark Chat, there's a Discord member with the Snowflake Show, and then join us there. Stu, they are watching a film on the Snowflake server on Discord. Oh, we better head over to onto the Snowflake Show server. I might go on there for a bit, actually. Just for a little bit. Not for too long, though, because I'm absolutely shattered. But they're watching a film on the Snowflake Show server on Discord. Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to leave you with a clip. I have already played this clip already, but some of you might not have seen that. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's by a comedian geezer. He's a bit of an oddball. His name's Joe. He's on Twitter. I left a link in the chat. He's worth following. He's actually hilarious. He really is funny. But, yeah, I think we need to do that one again. I really do. Got to find it first. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to say thank you to everybody. Really appreciate the super chats and you being here and joining us today. I apologise for all the technical issues that I've had. Oh, I need a team of techies. That's what we need. And the offers? You'll have to move here. I'll tell you what, I'll keep you in a tent. I'll give you a cold shower. And you can go back to work the following day. As a techie. After you dug the garden over. Oh no, that's Lee Anderson. Oh, anyway. So... yes, they will, Vipec. They'll say anything to excuse themselves. But they're just racists. And they don't like it when they get told otherwise. they get told that they're racist. They get all offended, you see. Like what happened to Gary Lineker. Good night, mate. I am absolutely shattered. And I'm going to go. So, yes, I'm going to go and I'll say thank you very much for your box of chocolates. Thank you very much. And thank you for the super chats. It really, really does help us because then this is kind of my job now. Because what happened is I went so deep into this and then the rug got pulled out from underneath me, so I don't get much on the views and stuff. So the super chat, it makes a massive, massive difference. And I would like to move away from the monetized platform on YouTube anyway. So like the Patreon or buy me a coffee type things. So any help is obviously I could pull away from that, which means you would have no adverts, which would be even better. Anyway, on the videos that is. So it's time for me to go. But first, before I go, I'm going to leave you this again, which some of you might have already seen it. Get me an EU passport. You don't want any of those old blue ones, or is it black? Can't really tell. Besides, they go all floppy. It's like they've been in the damp. Ta-ta.
The BBC are being destroyed on social media. Good. Everything is unfolding as I have foreseen. By placing Tories in senior positions in the BBC, I am dismantling this well-loved institution piece by piece. Soon, the BBC will be killed off once and for all. The public will demand it. Weak-minded fools. Every cancelled license fee direct debit makes them more my slave. Soon, British Broadcasting Corporation, my plan to destroy you will be complete. And now, BBC, you will die.